of Liberty.
Our country is strong. A great people has been moved to defend a great nation. Terrorist attacks can shake the foundations of our biggest buildings, but they cannot touch the foundation of America.
In the
These acts
councils
shatter
of government,
steel,
we must
but
guard
they
against
cannot dent
the
the steel.
acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
Inherently and historically opposed to secret society.
We, as Americans, have the capacity now, as we've had in the
decided
past,
long ago
to do whatever
dangers
needs
of
to be done
excessive and unwarranted
to
concealment
preserve this last and
facts
greatest bastion of freedom.
far outweigh the dangers
In this
which are
present
cited to
crisis,
justify it.
government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem.
I have a feeling that this isn't going to work right. Yep, that's going to have to bear with me for a moment, and that's off. I got to fix something real fast.
There we go. That there.
That's probably better.
That is definitely better, and we can turn that off. And now I got to do some of this right here, and yes, that is way better. Thank you. Copy. Well, you know, you should. You should definitely make sure it's live.
It is. Blah, 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 blah.
Well, you know,
Oh.
you should. Yeah, there is. Definitely make sure it's live.
It is.
Da-da-da-da.
Blah, 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 blah.
Oh, there we go. Okay, so I think that's got everything that needs
All right.
audio on it. So, welcome back to Embers of Liberty, where we would have been back a couple of weeks ago, but the computer decided to shit itself. So,
Yep.
we got that.
It took us a...
kind of figured out now. I made all the scenes at home and brought them with me, and
Took us a little summer break,
we took us a wee bit of a break.
and I guess the computer decided to do that too.
Smidgen of one. Yeah, the computer decided that it did not want to computer anymore. Now, I hope you've noticed we have a new logo. Yes. Yes. So, we were going to do a 4th of July show, like we always do, and with that in mind, I created a 4th of July inspired logo, and I'm not gonna lie, I like it more than the original.
Yep. And
it kind of brings the past and the future together, because it's got a musket from where it all started and an M4 from where we are now. So, anyway, it's been a minute.
yep. Here's to being back.
Here, being back. Ooh, the sweet smell of. Yeah, we don't have that one. That's what we're missing.
I gotta make it up.
I can't.
So, how was your summer break, Joe?
It was good until the AC stopped working.
Now that is a fair point. That is a very valid point, and that sucks for you.
Oh, but good news. I am officially done with my associate's degree as of yesterday. Thank you,
Do the
Kate.
images help?
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot.
Okay, good. So I've not only have I redone all the stuff at home, I made a couple of tweaks and put some images on our buttons for, you know,
For people like me who are,
That was not very loud.
no, it's not. I can fix that though.
I'm gonna say you probably got to do some adjusting on some of them too.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, it's standard at 50%. So go ahead and hit it again.
Now put it all the way up.
Yep, that'll work. Now, most of these I adjusted most of them at home, so they should be pretty good. Like the "Come On Man,"
yeah, for like
that sucker.
30 minutes, all I hear was like one icon, stupid, stupid.
So Lonnie is saying that nothing has come through his side as far as, I guess, the sound buttons.
Oh, yep, that would be why.
Try it again there, Kate.
Try it again there, Kate.
Smell like failure.
What about now, Lonnie?
Well, you'll hear it. You got your volume up?
No, I don't.
Well, turn your volume up. There it is. Okay, it worked. I gotta
Say Lonnie
change
responds faster than the lag. so
So it's set up now. We should be good no matter where we go.
does the vocal sound pretty good there, Lonnie? They sound crisp and close and whatnot.
I can't hear your nostrils for once, so
Probably because
Oh my
that's
the
gosh.
background noise is probably overpowering it.
Oh my god, wow.
oh my god.
Wee.
Okay, so Joe, congratulations on your associates.
Thanks, buddy.
I have.
Congratulations on going back to school.
Yep, I was about to say that. I have enrolled for fall semester. I will be pursuing a business administration degree for my associates, and then moving on to supply chain management logistics for my bachelor's.
Very nice.
And-
Yeah, I'm taking a break before I go on to my
and-
bachelor's.
Work is going to pay for it all.
Very nice. Very, very nice.
Damn right. Damn skippy. So, there's that. Kate had a minor surgery on her lower back. So that's part of the reason that we took a short summer break. Had my kiddo here for a week. Had the boys for 2 weeks. And, and then we had the computer snafu. So
How you feeling, Kate?
I feel like a new woman.
she
Call me Humpty Dumpty.
Humpty Dumpty.
she is definitely feeling better. I can attest to that. My hat looks off, but I think it's just because of
That's just your head.
I think it's just the camera.
I think it's just the camera. It don't look off to me.
I think it's your head.
Now it looks off. Now it looks weird. Straighten it
It's
back
just
up.
because I'm at a slot angle.
Yeah. Just put it straight. Yeah, there you go.
Oh my god.
This is
Stupid.
thank you.
Why the light went off?
It's fine. Can't see it anyway. Okay. Joe, you literally can't see it anyway.
Hold on. I just have it on the wrong setting.
Some people just don't listen.
There we go.
Up. Okay, so you can see it. Shut up.
Yeah, you dick.
Stupid. Smell like failure.
See how I cut the dun, dun, dun part off that.
However, the
flag is fine. It's literally tacked to where it's
Or
supposed
should I
to be.
say mans?
man's.
Anywho, okay, so
I did start an only man's. Not really.
uh,
Hey, some women like the gorilla look.
give it. We're on high alert here. No.
DEFCON 1. DEFCON 1. The hairy gorilla is naked.
You know, here's the thing. It's
My
been
God, my eyes.
it's been a long time. I've had several people ask me where the show is, and I just want to say it's good to be back.
It is good to be back.
It's good to be back. With that said, we do have a lot to get to, and it's not. We're going to skip a lot of the stuff that happened over the time that we were gone, but there are a couple of things that I really want to touch on. And the first one is going to be the fact that affirmative action... Oh, wait, hold on. Whoa!
You forgot.
I am so fucking rusty. Okay? Excuse me. It is
Smell like
time
failure.
to talk freedom things. New and improved.
If something doesn't go, at least one thing doesn't go wrong, it's not the show.
That's true. Yep, it's not the show. Okay, so,
Propes, welcome back.
oh yeah, I forgot to say, glad you were here from the very start.
Yep, and you checked in on us while we were gaming that night, and that was, our fault. That was, you were wondering what was going on. I didn't actually see your message until we were like almost done. And so that was our Father's Day special where we were just gaming, and anybody could have joined in with us and gamed with us, but nobody did. So
We had one person.
who?
Patrick?
Oh, that's right.
Yep, Pat joined us. And
We had the old Patty in the house.
Yeah, we had old Patty in the house.
Kate had to dip out. It was prior to her surgery, and she
I
was in
her
immense
back was
pain.
hurting. Yeah,
So
I couldn't sit in that chair anymore.
no.
that's understandable.
Hey,
Kate.
it's nice now though because I'll sit on the couch and she'll come sit over there and lay with me and stuff, and I'm like, oh, I've missed this. She acts like I'm not ever nice to her, and I don't understand why, because I'm definitely very nice to her. I very much love her.
HELP.
Give me an alert.
Kate, on the
Affirmative
next
action. Shut up.
on the next episode, wear a pink shirt if you're in danger.
You just gave away the plan.
She won't be here next episode, so
Wow.
the boys will be home. Yeah. So,
Okay, I'm done.
there is something that has happened that makes me very happy.
We begin.
Okay. This is
Stupid.
There we,
We
go.
begin.
okay. Now I got to remember how to do that. You know what? We're just going to deal with it tonight. How about that?
Just roll, baby.
Affirmative
roll.
action has died. And it went down in a fiery blaze. And I'm very happy about it.
Yep,
Because it was the most racist shit
it was.
ever.
Yep.
Okay? So, of course, there was much liberal wailing and gnashing of teeth when this happened. But it's gone. SCOTUS says it's unconstitutional.
And tonight, with the Supreme Court striking down affirmative action and reshaping college admissions. In a 6-3 decision, the justices ruled that Harvard University and the University of North Carolina violated the Constitution by considering race when deciding whether to admit someone to their school. A landmark case overturning nearly 50 years of precedent. The latest example of the conservative majority redefining American law, including abortion rights and guns. The ruling means higher education institutions will need to come up with new ways to create diverse student bodies.
Let me stop you right there. If you don't meet the standards, you don't go to the school.
It's not about diversity.
It's that simple. Like,
It's just not.
at the end of the day, you either meet the standard and get into it on merit, or you go to a different school.
Right.
You don't get to go to Harvard ahead of an Asian that scored higher than you on all of their testing and qualifies for the school better just because you're black or Hispanic. Okay, that's not how it works.
It is interesting to me how the Asian nationality or race isn't really considered
a minority when it
Yeah.
comes to college enrollment,
Right.
or college education, because they're capable of scoring. They're not. What's the word I'm looking for, Joe?
Stupid.
They're not. No, that's not the word I was looking for. They actually try.
they've got a lot. But I think it has to do.
It's a lot to do with culture. Right?
Yeah, culture.
So,
yeah,
Asian.
I was
families,
going to say genetics
It's not genetics
because
it is a culture thing.
right? But and I don't mean to sound eugenic sounding there. Like I was just going to say like. I think it is a culture thing. I like that better than genetics because I don't think genetics. I mean, genetics can play into your intelligence, I guess, but
Well, yeah,
but I think, but yeah, it's a culture thing for sure.
it's definitely a culture thing. And when you look at Asian families, they really, really, really put an emphasis
Right.
on education. You know, the family structure, all of that stuff. Like it's
Like
all
traditions
super
and-
important to Asian families. So it's a very traditional. It's a very traditional culture.
Right, right.
And honestly, if more people applied themselves the way that people who grew up in an Asian household apply themselves, you wouldn't have these problems. You wouldn't.
Notice we're saying Asian, not white, because they
Yeah,
make
'cause
us look
it's-
like idiots too.
And that's the thing. It's not just Asians, but white people are getting passed over too because the color of their skin, and that is inherently racist. You cannot sit there and admit one person because they're black and then say, "Oh, well, you're white, you can't get in."
It's
Even though
racist.
your scores are higher than
that
this
is
person
literally
we
the
just
definition of racism.
So, I mean, it's dead, and it's good that it's dead. Unfortunately, they're already trying to get workarounds for this. They're trying to make it so that they're not really, tying it to race. They're saying, how are you disadvantaged or whatever.
Right, right.
And saying I'm black isn't good enough anymore. You have to write an essay or something that shows that you had a harder time or whatever. But
you actually have to, which in a way is actually kind of a good thing because it means you actually have to examine your life and did you really have it hard?
Well, yeah, and then you also have to put forth the effort to actually get in and show that you're able to do, that you're able to meet the standards even though you were disadvantaged.
Just like, okay, David Hogg's a white guy, right? He got in off a technicality.
He got in because he survived a mass shooting. That dude's an idiot, okay? I don't care what anybody says. David Hogg is the biggest dumbass on this planet, and he has enriched himself by standing on the dead bodies of his classmates.
Yep. I agree.
Fuck that guy. Okay, take
He
us back
needed
to
dick.
Full screen. Like I said,
Do I hit
we're just
share? Because it doesn't show full screen anymore.
the live. Just the camera.
And when I was saying genetics, and I don't mean like black people they're genetically dispositioned to being dumb or anything. Like that's not what I was saying. I know somebody's going to hear what I was saying and be like, Joe's saying black people are genetically dumb. I'm saying, I was more so saying that genetically Asians are really smart.
Genetics do play a factor, but it's not what makes you smart.
Right, because
or
there's
stupid.
plenty of smart black folks, plenty of smart Asian folks, white. I mean, there's smart people in every
What
racial.
we're trying to say is it's more about
culture.
how you apply yourself,
Right.
than anything else.
Right.
So, moving on, there was another SCOTUS decision that made me really, really happy. And you know what it means? Pay your own damn loans. That's what it means.
Yes.
They struck down. We're not even going to watch this video. I don't care about this video because it really doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, pay your own loans.
Right.
Right. And then so that happened, and then within a week, the Biden administration has taken credit for something that was already written into the law that forgave something like 800,000 Americans student loan debt. Here's the thing: he didn't forgive shit. Okay, he made the system do what the system's supposed to do.
After you've been paying for
They
like
had
what,
been
20
paying
years?
For 20 years, and they hadn't been getting credit for it. He made the system work the way it was supposed to, and that's a good thing. I applaud that. But at the end of the day, it wasn't Joe Biden that did that. It was the system being shown to be wrong.
Right.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a good thing that those people got their loans canceled because they had met the standard to have them canceled.
Right,
They had worked
right.
on paying them off. They had done everything they were supposed to do, and they finally got to a point where their hard work was acknowledged, and they got the rest of their debt taken off.
Now, I do like the idea of, basically telling the companies, like, hey, you can't charge stupid amounts of interest for student loans. Like, these are student loans. These people are not going to be able to pay these back if you do this.
Right.
Like, put some, boundaries on it. Like, these are the most well, I guess you'd say, taken advantage of loans. They take advantage of these students, and these students end up in a ball of debt they can't get out of.
Correct. They do. But here's the thing, okay? They wouldn't be in that situation to begin with if the federal government didn't
Subsidize.
guarantee student loans.
Right.
Okay? And take it from me, somebody who just took out more student loan debt, okay? At the end of the day, my work's going to pay it back. They're going to cut me a check, and I'm going to cut the government a check and say, here's the money back.
Yeah, and I'm only in debt about $11,000, which is actually really good considering student loan debt is, I mean, it's upwards of what can be upwards $50,000 to over $100,000, if not more.
Yeah. So, in the course of going back to school and submitting all the paperwork for work, I had to figure out roundabout how much it was going to cost me total.
Right.
And I think the number was something like $57,000. But that's for a full 4 years.
Right.
And I'm taking 4 classes this semester. It's going to be hard, but it's going to be worth it.
What you taking?
So this semester I'm taking English 102, Bio 103, which is Intro to Biology, History 121, which is history, world history, and then History of World Religions.
That's very interesting. Now, are you going for an associate's first?
Yes.
I didn't have to take any of that. I had to take English.
It is part of. So, those are the ones that I chose to take as
Gotcha.
my electives that I have to have.
Oh, okay.
So,
History of World Religions will be interesting.
yeah, I think so too. But I didn't really want to do that when I wanted to do the exploration of the New Testament. But it was full.
I don't know, man. I think I'd like the history of world religions better.
I'm kind of into both, so it's neither here nor there.
That moment when people realize that Zoroastrianism predated Christianity. Oh no.
I mean, here's the thing, though. Okay, we're not getting into this. I don't want to get into this right now. I don't want to do it, and I'm not going to do it, so fuck off.
I'm going to dig that rabbit hole.
Now, there are some things on this show that you're going to miss, like This Week on Twitter. I didn't do This Week on Twitter because it's been forever. I didn't do one because there's a lot to talk about tonight.
I really enjoy your This Week on Twitter.
Yeah, well,
There's also some really good shit going on Twitter.
it'll be back next week.
Okay.
So, okay, moving on.
I do have a Joe's Conspiracy Corner.
Yes, you do. Thanks to Lon.
No, that was you.
Oh yeah, that was me. Sorry. Me and Lonnie, we agreed that this was a good one.
Yeah, I agreed.
So, also, while we were gone, they found some cocaine at the White House.
They found some of that nose sugar.
And then they wouldn't tell us whose cocaine it was. And by not telling us whose cocaine it was, you told us whose cocaine it was.
Because anybody else, they would have been like, that is Dan Frederick from old 1945
Yep.
Ballsack Circle.
Yep.
Booger sugar.
Booger sugar. Indeed. I mean, at the end of the day, you really did. By not telling us who it belonged to, you told us exactly who it belonged to, because there are 2 standards. Anybody else would have went to jail for that.
Right.
They don't care.
No.
They don't care because it was Hunter's.
Right.
Damn booger sugar.
That booger sugar.
Anyway, now we're going to move on. That's the kind of the bigger stuff that I could remember that's happened since we left. So now we're going to move on to...
Oh, and Joe Biden not accepting the fact that he has a 7th grandchild.
Oh, no, he did that finally.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he did that today.
Oh.
It's weird. So now we're going to get into this week. So, Trump's being indicted again. Over the classified documents at Mar-a-Lago.
Wasting taxpayer dollars.
So, I had a video for this. I'm not going to play it because at the end of the day, it's bullshit. We all know it's bullshit. And so here's the thing. You can't set a standard for one side and say, well, we can't prove that, Hillary had any intent to disseminate this information, or we can't prove that this, that, or the other, and not charge her because of who she is and not wanting to interfere with the presidential election. What are you looking at?
You're just not very loud to me.
I'm coming through fine on there. That's all that matters.
Very loud to me.
I'm coming through fine on there. That's all that matters.
See what I'm saying?
I turned myself up. How about that?
There we go.
Oops. Test it again for me.
Well, I mean, I've already said some stuff.
There we go. Yeah, shit.
I mean, shit.
Shit.
Pay attention.
Shit.
Fuck off.
Piss your pants.
Fuck you.
Eat a dick.
Smell like fake.
It's been a minute, man. We're just going to have fun tonight. So, again, you can't set the standard for Hillary Clinton and say, well, we're not going to prosecute her because she's running for president and we can't prove that she had any intent to do anything with these emails that we know she had. But then turn around and prosecute Trump for the same exact shit, pretty much. We all know Hillary Clinton mishandled classified documents. It's not a secret. Everybody knows. But we're not going to prosecute her. Excuse me. The boxes, they were very neat. They were stacked bigly in the corner, okay? And excuse me, but you are fake news.
You are fake news.
You are fake news. Anyway, I'm go ahead and retard me.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm kind of retarded.
You can tell that it's been a while. Like, I'm so rusty on all
feels
of this.
Good
like,
to be
feels good
back.
to be back, but at the same time, it's like,
It's gonna feel good to be back until about
I feel so stupid.
About 10 o'clock, and then my ass is gonna be hurting.
Well, you're only about an hour away from that. An hour and 15 minutes.
It's okay. Oh, we have a new we don't have a new listener. We have a listener I didn't know we had. One of my customers, which is a guy we went to school with, he was like a year behind us, a couple years behind us maybe. But he listens to us.
Really?
Yep. He actually, I was like, "You listen to us?" He was like, "Yeah, dude." And he was like, "Every episode." And I'm like, "What?"
Interesting.
He was like, "Yeah." And then I guess he listened to all of it because he was like, "I don't need to upload more to Spotify."
Oh, shit. Yep.
Because he said YouTube, his phone gets hot when he tries to listen to us on YouTube. So we got to start uploading to Spotify again.
Yeah, well, we need to figure out a way to record it easily.
Are we not? No, we're not recording.
No, because the computer shit itself.
That's right.
So I'll have to start downloading it the next day.
Yeah.
And uploading it to Spotify. What's this guy's name?
Kyle.
Kyle.
I'm not gonna say his last name.
Well.
Bush.
Interesting.
You know him, right?
I know of him.
Yeah, I mean, like you would know him if you've seen him.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
most likely. So again, though, back to this whole classified documents thing. Okay, Jack Smith can suck a dick because at the end of the day, you can't prosecute the former president for having documents when you wouldn't prosecute Hillary Clinton. Okay?
Exactly.
I'm sorry, that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. What are you doing?
I'm showing you.
Oh, yeah, I know that guy. I know of him. I don't really know that I ever talked to him.
I talked to him. He was in the band.
that would probably be why I recognize him, but don't really know him.
Right.
That's awesome, though. Glad that we have that. Excuse me.
Shout out to Kyle.
Shout out, Kyle. If you're not subscribed to a YouTube channel, make sure you do that.
I appreciate you keeping your yard cleaner for me. Notice I said cleaner, not clean.
Fire him.
Oh, no, he wouldn't do that because he don't want to mow his own yard.
Well, that's fair.
And I'm probably cheaper than anybody else.
I don't want to mow my own yard either. That's why our landlord does it. Oh!
I mean, if y'all live closer, I would do it for free.
Well, her brother does it.
Oh.
Because her brother's our landlord.
Oh.
And he lives directly behind us. So,
oh.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Anywho. Yeah. Indicting Trump over classified documents, that's stupid. It's not going to work.
Waste taxpayer money.
It's a giant waste of taxpayer money. Now,
what it is they're trying to keep him from being able to run again.
That's exactly what it is.
Which is not going to happen because he can still run for president from jail or prison and then pardon himself.
Well, no, not if he's a felon.
Oh, really?
Felonies disqualify you.
Oh.
And they're charging him with felonies.
Oh,
of
well,
course.
shit.
Just like they did in New York. They're doing everything they can to make sure that Donald Trump cannot run for president.
Which is not doing... It might. I mean, if it works, it may work because apparently Ron DeSantis ain't doing too well in the polls.
So, as much as I liked Ron DeSantis, I'm kind of in the party of like, wow, they all fucking suck.
Yep.
Now, like even Ron DeSantis, at some point, you got to admit that you fucked up. You have fucked this up.
What did he do that you say that?
So. There's been a lot of allegations of he and his wife being swingers here lately. Because of some people that he's been photographed with.
Oh, damn.
Who are swingers. Who run a website dedicated to throwing swinger parties. So, not a good look for the conservative Christian.
That's one hell of a cover charge.
That is one
access.
hell of a cover charge. So, I mean, like I said, I'm curious who our nominee is going to be. Who it be?
I'm thinking it meant like.
I want a repeat. I want Joe Jorgensen again.
Either her or
Spike.
Spike. Yeah.
Her or Spike Cohen. I don't care who the running mate is. Joe Jorgensen or Spike Cohen. That's all we want.
Yep.
And I don't know why we can't get more visibility now, especially given who's running.
What really pisses me off is they've actually brought up. They're like, oh, alternative parties, and then they brought up the
Green Party.
No, not the Green Party. It's a new one that just started.
The Tea Party.
No, Tea Party's not new. No, I mean like it's brand new. Oh, what is it called? It was like, oh man. Let me see.
I don't know, dude. I don't know what you're talking about. But we do need to be moving on because there are a lot of videos that are about 5 minutes long each.
All right, just move on and
I'll
come back to
thing, which is something that's going to be very near and dear to your heart, Joe.
Oh yeah, I like this.
We're gonna give you a little. Hold on. I got a thing for you. I got something.
Go, you know the thing.
I've got something for you, Joe. Are you ready?
All right.
Actually, I think it's in a different spot. Hold on. Oh, yep, there it is. Where did it? Listen.
That's booming, baby.
Joe. They're talking about UFOs in Congress.
I know.
They're talking about the UFOs.
They're here.
What does it mean?
They real.
So yeah, they're doing UAP whistleblower hearings in Congress now, and it is interesting to say the least.
So Lonnie actually brings up a good point. He said libertarians are too busy telling other libertarians they aren't libertarian. Lonnie, you actually are pretty right about that, and it pisses us off.
Libertarian Twitter is a lit place because there are a lot of libertarians that will tell other libertarians that they are not libertarians on Twitter. And it's super annoying. Why don't you just shut the fuck up and actually work for the same causes?
Right.
But then there's there's aspects of our party that will put on events like anti-war rallies with people like Scott Ritter, who is a verifiably convicted pedophile who's not anti-war, who's never been anti-war. He will tell you that he's not anti-war. And libertarian-sponsored events are putting this guy on the stage as a speaker to stop the war in Ukraine. Okay, that's not how this works. He's not anti-war. He's literally part of the establishment. And he's a fucking pedophile. You should be distancing yourself from the fact that this man associates with your party by putting a bullet in him. That is not a suggestion.
Not a suggestion.
Please don't do that.
But really don't.
No, really don't. Please. I'm not advocating that at all. And, if this video gets taken down, well, then so be it. We'll go to fucking Rumble again, where we got a lot of viewers the last time we were there.
A lot of viewers.
It was pretty awesome. Anyway.
Let's talk about aliens.
On to the aliens.
I should have made a tinfoil hat.
Mr. Chairman.
That would have been perfect.
It would have been.
I used to have one.
You know what? Let's just take a little venture into Joe's conspiracy corner.
So we're going to have Joe's Conspiracy Corner 1.0 and 2.0.
Yeah, we're going to have part 1 and part 2.
What? Part 2.
Formula. Speaking of which, Formula 1's at Spa this weekend, and that's... Anyway, yeah, Lonnie, I was too, but still, it's fun. The fact that this first clip has...
This guy, dude, this guy.
Well, first off, it's this guy, but the person asking the question.
What? Go tell your mother. Go tell your mother. He's like
you know what he deserves?
Yep, he did it almost right into the microphone. He did that almost right into the microphone.
Bryson went pee-pee.
1 and 2.
No, just pee-pee.
He said 2.
Oh. I don't know, dude. Anyway, all right, so this first question's asked by the Honorable Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Representative D. Twitch.
Chairman, I yield back negative 21 seconds.
Thank you. Ms. Ocasio-Cortez.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to our witnesses for coming here today.
Don't worry, I can't say her name either.
Concur with the ranking member as well as several other members here on this committee that this is a committee for whistleblowers and for the protection of whistleblowers as well. So we understand what you're putting on the table here and what you're putting on the line here, and we thank you for that. Mr. Grush, you sat on the Unidentified Anomalous Phenomenon Task Force created in the 2020 NDAA, correct?
Yes.
There have been some things that have been mentioned here during this hearing that I wanted to pick up on. Mr. Graves, you mentioned specifically during the answers to one of your questions, you named Boeing contractors being engaged in an incident regarding this red cube about a football field wide. I was wondering if you could speak a little bit about...
I'd like to point out that she froze on a football field wide because she doesn't know anything about a football field. She knows about under the bleachers, though.
The interaction, or Mr. Grush, either of you, the interactions between defense contractor companies and any UAP-related programs or activities.
So I'll just say that the information about the contractor himself were provided by a witness, and I have no particular detail in that relationship.
Mr. Grush.
The kind of general unclass wave tops, certainly the contractors, are the metal benders, so to speak, they're the ones actually doing specific performance on government contracts.
Are they required to issue any disclosure regarding UAP sightings, or do they engage in any reporting around this?
In terms of the contractors,
Yes.
not that I'm aware of.
They do not. Okay. Now, when it comes to notification that you had mentioned about IRAD programs, we have seen defense contractors abuse their contracts before through this committee. I have seen it personally, and I have also seen the notification requirements to Congress abused. I am wondering, one of the loopholes that we see in the law is that there is, at least from my vantage point, is that depending on what we're seeing, is that there are no actual definitions or requirements for notification.
No, he's trying to let a fart out.
Are there
No, pause it real quick.
methods of
Why is he wearing a do-rag?
Because he has cancer, you motherfucker.
It's a serious question.
He has cancer. He's going through chemo.
Okay.
Leave him alone.
Okay, no, I ain't making fun of him. That's why I asked a question first.
No, I know.
If he's got cancer, okay.
Yeah, that's Jamie Raskin, and he has cancer of some sort. I'm not sure what kind of cancer he is, or he has. He is a cancer because he's a Democrat, but
damn, that's worse than what I was going to say.
Well,
I was like, what the hell is he wearing
Democrats
a
are a
do-rag for?
cancer.
Yeah.
They are. There's no way about
I know. I would have
this.
went with something different than a do-rag, but okay.
Well, no, I mean, it's comfortable for him.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
So
I feel bad for that. I mean,
I'm not sure what kind of cancer he has, but there was a big hubbub about it a while back because he had wearing something on his head, and it was like, oh, it's no different than he'll have no more. Okay, first off, nobody said he couldn't fucking wear it. Shut the fuck up.
Leave him alone.
You dumbasses.
Like, he may be a Democrat shitbag, but damn, leave the guy alone.
Okay,
He's got
listen,
cancer.
he's got cancer.
Nobody deserves cancer, man.
He's got cancer. He is cancer, and, you know.
But nobody deserves cancer.
The thing is nobody can see the do-rag because we're over it.
It's okay. It's just, yeah, he's wearing like a do-rag, and I was just wondering. I was curious.
Anyway, let's get through this.
notification did you observe? Like when they say they notified Congress, how did they do that? Do you have insight into that?
For certain IRAD activities, I can only think of ones conventional in nature.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they flow through certain, I'll just say, SAP programs that have cognizant authority over the Air Force or something, and those are congressionally reported compartments, but IRAD is literally internal to the contractor, so as long as it's money, either profits, private investment, et cetera, they can do whatever they want.
To put a finer point on it, when there is a requirement for any agency or company to notify Congress, do they contact the chairman of a committee? Do they get them on the phone specifically? Is this through an email to hypothetically a dead email box?
A lot of it comes through what they call the PPR, Periodic Program Review process. If it's a SAP or Controlled Access Program Equity, and then those go to the specific committees, whether it be the SAS, CASC, PISI.
Thank you. I apologize. My time is limited. Mr. Graves, one of your main concerns is that the FAA currently does not have an official process to receive reports of UAP from pilots or others, correct?
Correct.
And
over
in
here
your
softly eating
experience,
my pretzels,
what data should
so
the
people
Aero
can't hear
program
me.
prioritize for potential collection? We have, location, date, time, but are there other specific characteristics that should be included in these reports?
Certainly. I think that there's two categories that would be important. One would be kinematics and understanding the specifics of how the vehicle or objects are moving. And the second would be a more zoomed out approach of being able to look at origin and destination before the incident, as well as getting a better contextual understanding of how these objects are interacting with each other.
Thank you. Now, because I only have a minute left, I apologize, we only have 5 minutes today, but for the record, if you were me, where would you look? Titles, programs, departments, regions, if you could just name anything.
Okay, so I want to say this. Okay, this is the first time that I've ever heard AOC ask legitimate, good questions.
Because it's the freaking aliens, bro.
If Congress would work more like this more often,
we might actually be somewhere.
We might actually have some common ground with the other side. But they won't do that. They're not gonna do this.
You know why? It's because they're actually like, oh shit, these are beings that might be able to destroy our entire planet. We need to figure something out here. We actually need to figure something out here.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and the truth of the matter is that if there are aliens, we deserve to know about them.
I think so.
But at the same time, like, how many people are going to lose their shit?
Right, exactly. Like, there could be not riots, but people could go crazy.
I understand the desire to keep it under wraps, but at some point, you got to trust your people to not lose their shit. Then again, we're talking about the same people who thinks George Floyd was killed by the knee on the back of his neck, even though there was no damage to his neck.
We are talking about the same people that think you can be a cat.
We're talking about the same people that think slicing your dick in half and shoving it inside you makes you a woman.
Yeah.
You know, on second thought, maybe we don't need to know.
I want to know.
I want to know.
Like,
I don't think the regular people...
let them go crazy. I'm okay. Like I ain't worried about people going crazy. Like,
I mean, we got guns.
Right.
So.
We'll just start our own little commune and...
Listen, I mean...
I'll be the garden man, and you know...
Standard greeting for an alien will be...
I'll show you my tomato plants.
What?
Punk.
What?
You said, I'll be the gardener. I said, show me your tomato plants.
Oh, girl.
Let me see that Tootsie Roll.
I'm trying to say it like the Godfather, because I have a mouthful of pretzels.
Anyway.
I'll make them special tomato plants.
Lonnie asks why it's always a Vera Bradley pattern, because that's like the standard do-rag pattern, apparently.
And also, he said, don't know if this guy's legit. So here's the thing.
I think what you're trying to refer to is the crypt pattern.
Oh. Well, the thing is, if these guys are lying, I'm pretty sure they go to prison.
Well, yeah, because now they'd be perjuring themselves.
So it is not in your best interest.
You know what? At some point, do you really think that these people who have already put themselves out there on the line really care about perjuring themselves? They're already labeled as crackpots.
I don't know,
by
man.
a lot of people.
I don't know.
Now, with the exception of Commander David Fravor, who was in one of the planes that filmed the Tic Tacs.
I don't know.
You know, it's crazy. Anyway, let's continue.
And I put that as an open question to the three of you.
I'd be happy to give you that in a closed environment. I can tell you specifically.
Thank you. Commander Fravor?
And I would say, and I've told people that you have to know where to look. They're not going to divulge it to you because of the classification levels. But if you know where to look and who to talk to, which is exactly where Mr. Gresh can point you, then you have them.
Okay. Mr. Graves?
I was not.
That's interesting. So, David Fravor seems to think that Grush can actually give valuable information. Now, I'm much more inclined to trust David Fravor.
I'm saying, if he's saying that Gresh has good information, then
you know
he must have good information.
He's got to have something, you know. Yeah, Lonnie says Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp sitting in the front row. Yeah, of course Jeremy Corbell's sitting in the front row. That dude's all over everything involving aliens. Even though I think that the guy that he what's that guy's name? The guy that the government's
so you know the thing
over working at Area 51 and shit.
I don't remember.
Lonnie, help me out here. I know you know who I'm talking about. Yeah, Bob Lazar.
Oh, okay.
That guy. I think he's full of shit.
Yeah.
Now, as far as these other guys, more recent guys, I don't.
This is we're getting closer and closer, man. And we got more to go though. Let's keep rolling.
Let's keep
Do you
going.
believe our
This is juicy, like bit into the fresh orange, all over your face, juicy.
Yeah, it's like shoving your face in a watermelon juicy.
government has made contact with intelligent extraterrestrials?
Something I can't discuss in public setting.
So yes.
Okay, I can't ask when you think this occurred. If you believe we have crashed craft, stated earlier, do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft?
As I've stated publicly already in my News Nation interview, biologics came with some of these recoveries. Yeah.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
And was this documentary evidence, this video, photos, eyewitness? Like, how would that be determined?
The specific documentation I would have to talk to you and Skiff about.
Thanks for watching.
So there's that.
Did you get the video where they talked about attacking people?
Probably not. Because I found a bunch of different stuff. Now here's the one that is, nope, bad, stupid. Stupid me.
Stupid.
Thank you. Now this one is about the Tic Tacs. So this is coming directly from David Fravor, who I think is probably the most credible among these witnesses.
Commander Fravor?
That guy
Thank
can't
you.
say
Thank you,
Fravor
Mr. Chairman,
to save his life.
Congressmen, Congresswomen. I want to first thank you for the invitation to speak to the committee on the UAP topic that's been in the news for the past
He's
6
shaking.
years and
Did
seems
you
to
see
be
that?
continuing to gain momentum. As you know, my name is David Fravor. I'm a retired commander in the United States Navy. In 2004, I was a commanding officer of Strike Fighter Squadron 41, the world-famous Black Aces. We were attached to Carrier Wing 11, stationed on board the USS Nimitz, and had begun a 2-month workup cycle off the coast of California. On this day, we were scheduled for a 2v2 air-to-air training with the USS Princeton as our control. When we launched off Nimitz, my wingman was joining up. We were told that the training was going to be suspended and we were going to proceed with real-world tasking. As we proceeded to the west, the air controller was counting down the range to an object that we were going to, and we were unaware of what we were going to see when we arrived. The controller had told us that these objects had been observed for over 2 weeks, coming down from over 80,000 feet, rapidly descending to 20,000 feet, hanging out for hours, and then going straight back up. For those who don't realize, above 80,000 feet is space. We arrived at the location at approximately 20,000 feet, and the controller called merge plot, which means that our radar blip was now in the same resolution cell as the contact. As we looked around, we noticed that we saw some whitewater off our right side. It's important to note that the weather on this day was as close to perfect as you could ask for off the coast of San Diego. Clear skies, light winds, calm seas, no whitecaps from waves. So the whitewater stood out in a large blue ocean. All 4 of us, because we were in F-18Fs, so we had pilots and Wizzo in the back seat, looked down and saw a white tic-tac object with a longitudinal axis pointing north-south and moving very abruptly over the water like a ping pong ball. There were no rotors, no rotor wash, or any sign of visible control surfaces like wings. As we started clockwise towards the object, my Wizzo and I decided to go down and take a closer look at the other aircraft staying in high cover to observe both us and the tic-tac. We proceeded around the circle about 90 degrees from the start of our descent, and the object suddenly shifted its longitudinal axis, aligned it with my aircraft, and began to climb. We continued down another 270 degrees, nose low, where the tic-tac, or we considered 270 degrees, and we went nose low to where the tic-tac would have been. Our altitude at this point was about 15,000 feet, and the tic-tac was about 12,000. As we pulled nose onto the object, within about a half mile of it, it rapidly accelerated in front of us and disappeared. Our wingmen, roughly 8,000 feet above us, lost contact also. We immediately turned back to see where the whitewater was at, and it was gone also. So as we started to turn back towards the east, the controller came up and said, "Sir, you're not going to believe this, but that thing is at your cat point, roughly 60 miles away in less than a minute. You can calculate the speed." We returned to Nimitz. We were taking off our gear. We were talking to one of my crews that was getting ready to launch. We mentioned it to them, and they went out and luckily got the video that you see, that 90-second video. What you don't see is the radar tape that was never released, and we don't know where it's at, of the active jamming that the object put on an APG-73 radar, and I can get into modes later if you're interested. What is shocking to us is that the incident was never investigated. None of my crew were ever questioned. Tapes were never taken, and after a couple days, it turned into a great story with friends. It wasn't until 2009 until Jay Stratton had contacted me to investigate. Unbeknownst to all, he was part of the ATIP program in the Pentagon led by Lou Elizondo. And there was an official report that came out that's now on the internet. Years later, I was contacted by the other pilot, Alex Dietrich, and asked if I'd been contacted, and I said no, but I'm willing to talk. I was contacted by Mr. Elizondo, and we talked for a short period of time, and he said we'd be in contact. A few weeks after that, I was made aware that Lou had left the Pentagon in protest and joined forces with Tom DeLonge, Chris Mellon, Steve Justice, and others to form Two Stars Academy, an organization that pressed the issue with leading industry experts and U.S. government officials. They worked with Leslie Kean, who is present today, Ralph Blumenthal, and Helene Cooper to publish the articles in the New York Times 2017 New York Times, and it removed the stigma on the topic of UFOs, which is why we're here today. Those articles open the door for the government and public that cannot be closed. It has led to an interest from our elected officials who are not focused on little green men, but figuring out where these craft are, where are they from, the technology they possess, how do they operate. It also led to the Whistleblower Protection Act and the NDAA. There are multiple witnesses coming forward to say that have firsthand knowledge, and Mr. Grush just covered that. What concerns me is that there's no oversight from our elected officials on anything associated with our government processing or working on craft. Believe it or not, from this world. This issue is not a full public disclosure that could undermine national security, but it is about ensuring that our system of checks and balances works across all work done in the government using taxpayer funds. Relative to government programs, even unacknowledged WAVE programs have some level of oversight by the appropriate committee members in the House and Senate, and this work that is said to be occurring from whistleblower testimonies should not be exempt. In closing, I would like to say that the Tic Tac object we engaged in 2004 was far superior to anything that we had on time, have today, or are looking to develop in the next 10 years. If we in fact have programs that possess this technology, it needs to have oversight from those people that the citizens of this great country elected in office to represent what is best for the United States and best for the citizens. I thank you for your time. Thank you.
Again, I think that he's probably the most credible witness on this panel.
Right.
Right. And I've seen, you know what, let's just so that everybody's on the same page, we'll pull up the Tic Tac video.
I was gonna say, 'cause I've never seen it.
Let's see.
You've never seen the Tic Tac video?
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Look at that thing, dude. That's not our LNS though, is it? It's not. That is an LNS, dude. Well, if there's like... Look at that thing. It's rotating.
This is the Go Fast video. So that thing is moving at an ungodly rate of speed.
How far is this up from?
I'm sorry, what?
How high up is this thing filming from?
They're saying that thing is pretty much moving so fast that if somebody was in it, it would crush them.
Yeah.
I think
saying,
that's
like, how
from,
far up is this camera?
I think he's at 25,000 feet.
God, that's huge.
And that's across the surface of the ocean. Like, that thing is at the ground.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
So,
Big.
but it looks like 25,000 feet. I'm not sure.
I don't know if it's, and when I say crush, I don't know if that's the video. But they said that, and Fravor said that one went from like what 30,000 feet or something like that to like.
Well, they were dropping from space to right above the water
in like less than a second,
which would kill anybody inside.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you know, and to me that brings up the question: are there actually beings inside these craft? In some of them, or are they just drones?
Either way,
the
origin is alien. There's no way it's here.
Right. I agree with that.
We there's no way we have that technology.
Yeah, no matter what you want to say about the advancement of human technology, there's no way that we've gotten that far that fast. So let's keep going here.
Did you box moving target? No, I took an auto track. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, dude. Wow, look at it fly.
You know, what is this one? I don't know this one.
Oh, I don't know this one either.
It looks like another Tic Tac, but regardless.
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA.
I mean, that right there on its own is just, it's insane. So now you know what David Fravor was talking about. That first clip of the one that rotates on its side, that's the Tic Tac. The second video was the Go Fast, and I think the third video was another Tic Tac, but I'm not sure. So I mean, it's fucking crazy that all of this stuff has been out in the open, and our government has just acted like it's nothing. But we'll go on to the next one.
Thank you. We'll go to Mr. Burchett himself.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
So again, we're only spending so much time on this because it's literally the most interesting thing that happened this past week. Like, this is by far the most interesting thing that happened, and it's something that we're actually interested in.
It's something that we think's interesting, but it seems like, honestly, that society in general has been like, you know what, we got too much shit going on to worry about aliens right now.
Well, yeah, kind of.
But to be fair, I've been following the alien stuff for a long time, so this is exciting to me.
Yeah, it's exciting to me too. I've always, I grew up watching Ancient Aliens on the History Channel.
Freaking love Ancient Aliens.
It's fucking hilarious.
Okay, so
it's completely stupid. But
I'll ask this question at the end of this discussion. But we have some deep thought stuff we need to be looking at the end of this discussion.
Okay, whatever.
Mr. Garcia, I would like to have you on
I don't know what that means, and it scares me.
No, that's not.
I
call it deep thought.
Maybe my co-sponsor on that. That'd be really cool. Thank you for those great questions. Mr. Graves, again, I'd like to know, how do you know that these were not our aircraft?
I like his voice.
Some of the behaviors that we saw in a working area, we would see these objects being at 0.0 Mach, that's zero airspeed, over certain pieces of the ground. So what that means, just like a river, if you throw a bobber in, it's going to float downstream. These objects were staying completely stationary in Category 4 hurricane winds. These same objects would then accelerate to supersonic speeds, 1.1, 1.2 Mach, and they would do so in very erratic and quick behaviors that I don't have an explanation for.
Okay. Have you spoken to commercial and military pilots that have seen these off of our East Coast?
I have.
Okay. Mr. Fravor, I noticed that in the Tic Tac video, it's Tic Tac like the candy, not TikTok like the Chinese Communist app.
That's correct.
Yes, sir. I just want to make that because my daughter corrected me on that and called me a boomer and said, "Hey, boomer,"
You
and I said, "No,
are
baby,
a
it's Tic
boomer."
Tac like the candy. You're gonna have to just look it up." And but
That
now I would
guy's an
also like
alien.
to say today is a day of many firsts. It's a miracle that we're having this meeting, and it's also a miracle that my wife has put up with me for 9 years today. Today is my anniversary, so I want to tell my wife happy anniversary and that I love her very much.
Dude, shut up.
Shut the fuck up. Ask the
As
question.
she likes to say, this 9 years have been the best 2 years of her life. So, thank you. Mr. Favor, what astonished you the most about the flight capabilities of these Tic Tac, very briefly?
The performance. Absolute performance. It was.
And you're not aware of any other objects?
Sugar.
Sugar water.
I need sugar. Sugar.
More sugar.
Water. More. More.
You're doing so much better.
More. Not me.
Is the galaxy.
You know that's what's his face from Full Metal, right?
It's also the guy from it's Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah.
Where is the
I didn't know that
galaxy?
for the longest time.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of good stuff. Sugar.
Sugar water.
More.
Okay, now you just sound like Cookie Monster.
I want more cookies.
More.
Look at my new cat.
Did you not watch that video?
What?
The little girl.
Yeah, that's
that
what I was just saying, Lonnie. He looks like an
screams.
alien.
Yeah, that dude does look like an alien. That guy blinks.
He's just got that blank stare.
That guy
Which
blinks
one?
horizontally.
Left or right?
The one on the right.
That one, the one. Oh shit. The one.
Stupid.
Okay, because the one on the left looks like it's gonna take a
Stupid
shit.
him.
Stupid.
Thank you.
I need to
Stupid.
myself.
I'm going to be honest with you.
I'm kind of retarded.
Anyway, all right, let's go.
That anybody in the world has, in this world, that has those capabilities.
No, I think it's far beyond actually our material science that we currently possess.
Are you aware
Agreed.
of any other reconnaissance platforms that have tracked or recorded the Tic Tacs maneuvers, maybe the NORAD system or any of the others?
I am not.
Okay. Mr. Grush, thank you for being here, brother. Thank you all very much. Have you faced any retaliation or reprisals for any of your testimony or anything on these lines?
Yeah, I have to be careful what I say in detail because there is an open whistleblower reprisal investigation on my behalf, and I don't want to compromise that investigation by providing anything that may help provide somebody information. But it was very brutal and very unfortunate, some of the tactics they used to hurt me both professionally and personally, to be quite frank. Yeah.
It's very unfortunate, as they say, when you're over the target, that's when they do the most firing at you. Do you have any personal knowledge of people who have been harmed or injured in efforts to cover up or conceal these extraterrestrial technology?
Yes. Personally.
Have anyone been murdered that you would that you know of or have heard of, I guess?
I have to be careful asking that question. I directed people with that knowledge to the appropriate authorities.
Maybe in a, if we could get in a confidential area, skiff, we could talk about that. But unfortunately, we were denied access to the skiff, and that's very unfortunate in this scenario. Mr. Favor, do you believe that you witnessed an additional object under the water in relation to your encounter?
I will say we did not see an object. There was something there to cause the whitewater, and when we turned around, it was gone. So there was something there that obviously moved.
Okay, it was not the same object though that you were looking at, correct?
No, we actually joked that the Tic Tac was communicating with something when we came back, and because the whitewater disappeared.
We were in another instance. We're told about the capabilities of a jamming during viewing of when there were some people chasing some of these objects. Did you experience any of that jamming or interrupting your radar or weapons system?
My crew that launched after we landed experienced significant jamming to the APG-73 radar, which was what we had on board, which is a mechanically scanned, very high-end system prior to the APG-79. And yes, it did pretty much everything you could do, range, velocity, aspect, and then it spit the lock, and the targeting pod is passive. That's what we were able to get the video on.
I'm about to run out of time, but are you aware of any of our enemies that have that capability?
No.
Okay, I would also like to note for the record that, like George Knapp breaking Area 51, he's the reason I knew about that, and the reason I know about the Tic Tacs is Leslie Keene, the New York Times article, and I would encourage everybody to read that.
So, again, you know, a lot of this centers on the Tic Tac, right?
Right.
And I think the Tic Tac and the Go Fast video are probably the most concrete evidence because they're literally pulled from military grade equipment that picked them up. Now, it's also important to note that jamming radar is considered an act of aggression. And these guys would have been well within their rights to engage it, but they chose not to because they were in awe of what they were seeing, I think, more than anything.
And probably if it's alien, they're probably not doing it. They don't know that it would be an act of aggression to them. It's probably like a, hey, I just don't want you to see me kind of thing.
Right. But again, so you can't sit there and tell me, though, that an extraterrestrial species that is so advanced that they're able to make it to Earth is going to allow themselves to be seen without wanting to be seen. They just didn't want it to be tracked.
Or, I mean, because maybe they don't have that kind of technology to be invisible. I mean, I don't know. We don't know what their level of technology is either.
At this point, we know that they can move so fast that you literally lose track of them within a second.
Right.
So
I'm just saying we don't know what their level of technology is, though.
And that's a fair point. I just think that if they're capable of making it here, they're capable of not being seen if they don't want to be seen.
Maybe they don't care to be seen. That's just my opinion. Maybe the way they look at it is, hey, we don't care if they see us.
Now, Wait, what is this one?
I put that in there.
Oh.
That's that where he talks about the people getting hurt.
Okay, well, we're going to skip the Matt Gaetz one because I don't believe him. He's a fucking piece of shit anyway. But
Very much. Have you faced any retaliation or reprisals for any of your testimony or anything on these lines?
Yeah, I have to be careful what I say in detail because
this is the same thing that we just watched.
Dang it.
Investigation on my behalf. I don't want to compromise that investigation by providing anything that may.
Yeah, that's literally part of the testimony we just watched.
He has one video where he said that like some of these UAPs or the aliens actually harmed people.
Well, I mean, if they did happen to find a craft that had a living biologic in it, then I'm sure it was going to fire back or fight back.
No, let's see, people were harmed. That's the one.
I think you're talking about the same thing that we just watched.
No.
Because that's the only thing that I've heard come out of this saying that people were harmed.
Dang it. Because somebody asked him, has someone been attacked by one of the, the aliens?
I don't know. I mean, if you can find it, we'll cover it. But for now, we're going to move on. So, my honest opinion, what was your deep thought question here? How do we handle this if one day we just wake up and the government's like, you know what, screw it. Yep, they're here. I think that the majority of people saw it coming and knew that something like this was going to happen. But I don't think the majority of people are prepared for it. I think that a lot of religious people are going to struggle with it. But
because there's a lot of religious people that don't think that God and aliens can coexist.
But they can. Because at the end of the day, God's not from Earth.
But see, people say
God
that
is an alien.
Well, if aliens exist, that means Christ had to go and die for their sins too. It's like, no, they could be sinless. It said sin come into the world,
so
not into the universe.
So here's the thing, right? I think that it's entirely possible that the angels that people saw were just aliens, and that we may have been the last part of creation, right?
Wait, what?
So angels
Yes.
are part of creation. I think that it's entirely possible that angels were created and put on other planets, whatever, and that we may have just been the last part of creation.
Who's to say these beings aren't from other? What if they were from other dimensions?
Which would make them angels.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, at the end of the day, when you look at the scripture, right? So there was a firmament, which you could consider space-time.
No, the firmament was like almost like the ozone layer, supposedly. It was the dome over the earth.
So there were the waters,
right?
And the firmament separated the waters. You could consider that two dimensions.
Maybe.
Okay, so.
No, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but I don't agree. Is what I'm getting at. That
it's not the car. Okay, so in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters.
Let's give a little. We're not going into a big religious thing for people that maybe like, oh, I don't want to hear about no religion. We're trying to justify how this could still be a thing in Christianity.
Okay, so, and God said, let there be light, and there was light. And God saw the light was good, and he separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night.
Here it is.
And there was the evening, and there was the morning, the first day. And God said, let there be a vault between the waters to separate water from water. That's the firmament. So God made the vault and separated the water under the vault from the water above it, and so it was. And God called the vault sky, and there was...
It's interesting.
Okay, so again, he called the vault sky. So the vault is the firmament.
Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm saying. And it's interesting, though, that at that time they even knew that there was not air above the firmament.
Well, it was water.
That's what... Well, to them, it was water.
To separate water from water.
Right. I've actually also heard it explained, too, that in the beginning, like the very, very beginning, that there was actually like an ice layer around the Earth.
Yeah, you're talking about flat earthers. But
No.
Or no, I don't think so. But so, I mean, he's clearly talking about Earth here, right?
Right.
So, either the water that's above the firmament, or the vault in this case, because this is the NIV version.
I don't like the NIV version.
The NIV is vault. It's the firmament. So you could either say that is like space, like the first water is space and the second water is earth, because he even gathers the water into one place to let dry ground appear on earth. So there's several different ways that it can be interpreted. If you're going purely biblical, then I would say that it doesn't really argue for an extra dimensional, because it's basically saying that God's from space.
Well,
but again, if God's from space, then what else is out there?
But see, there's actually a verse, though, that talks about there was a meeting in heaven, and God asked Lucifer something like, where does thou come from, or whatever, and he said, from the earth, from walking up and down in it.
I don't know, man.
I'm just saying, like, that could be proof that there's other beings in the universe, and they were at that meeting too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's completely possible that... So I've always had the idea that since most of the major world religions all share basically the same...
There are similarities. If you really look into it, there are similarities in every religion.
Yeah. So, there's a great flood in pretty much every religion. There's a creation account in pretty much every religion. At some point, you've got to realize that...
At least the head deity in every religion, I believe, is a male.
Well, so I think that... what I think is that most religions are correct. It's just the way in which they're told. I think that as humanity evolved and spread out far and wide, that they each had their own interpretations of what it was, and if you just follow them all back, they all merge back into the same religion.
Maybe, I don't know.
I mean, no two people have the same perspectives.
Right. So, I mean, just over time, tradition and oral history in particular, because up till Samaria, there was no written language.
All verbal.
It was all verbal.
Right.
So,
and we know how that goes.
Word of mouth, it changes. I could tell you that, I met Kate on Tinder, and that our first date
What'd you hear, Lassie?
I don't know.
And
I can't tell if it's a dog or if it's a child. Sorry.
I can't tell if it is either.
I think it'll be all right.
I could sit here and tell you that Kate and I's first date was, I went and picked her up at my eye doctor, and then we went to Drake's. And by the time it gets around to like Lonnie,
it's just like that game that they play where you go around the table and you each tell
say one thing,
and by the time it gets back to the original person, it's different.
Yeah.
I love peanut butter jelly sandwich. You know what I mean? And then by the time it gets back around, that person is. It's actually a party game too.
Yeah.
For drunk people.
I mean, and it evolves and changes so many times that there's no telling where it actually started. But I think that if you were able to go back, you would find that all of these major religions all end up going back to the same place.
Right. Now, I believe in God, and I believe in Jesus. But I have started believing that I don't think that what we are taught now in Christianity is necessarily what was really intended.
I've always thought that. That's why I don't go to church anymore.
Now, I believe that basics, things about salvation and stuff, I think that, is there. But I just don't think that there's I think there's a lot of stuff that was taken out and omitted, and very nice. But, yeah, I mean, it's something that I do enjoy looking into a lot of.
Which is why I'm so excited about my history of world religions class.
Exactly. I'm excited too. Like, dang, man, like if I would have known about it, I would have done that.
So, anyway, hold
on, one more little thing. Just real quick. So, what a lot of people don't...
Probst is back.
Welcome back, Probst. We actually saw you at the beginning.
Yeah, we saw you at the beginning. We were just kind of putting the finishing touches on getting everything going.
And we saw you that night when we were gaming. That was our Father's Day episode, so we were taking a break. That was kind of our beginning of our little summer break. So we were just doing like a little Father's Day gaming night with Embers. So that's what we were doing that night. But, so, Zoroastrianism? You know what that is? Okay, so the 3 wise men in the Bible?
Yes.
Those guys were actually Zoroastrian, like, warlocks or whatever. They were not Jewish or anything like that.
Interesting.
Yeah, and they actually they were actually part of a religion that also believed in a virgin birth. Yep.
Interesting.
Yep. There's actually there's a documentary on YouTube about it.
Nice.
Yeah.
What is it called?
Just look up like 3 wise men Zoroastrianism, and there should be a documentary. It's very, very interesting. It's very cool.
So we are getting to a point where we're going to be running out of time. So let's move along. But first off, your opinion on aliens, Kate?
Yes.
You think there's aliens?
Care to elaborate?
I mean, I'm not saying like there's little green men running around or anything like that.
But there are other beings other than humans.
Yes, I really do think so.
Agreed.
I agree too.
Agreed.
I mean,
so the consensus is that there are aliens.
Those weird
grays.
What they may look like or what they may be, that's up for debate.
Now, so here's one though that I've always pondered too. What if in the future you
saw that video?
Well, no, I've always thought this too.
What if they just traveled through space-time and that's really just us from the future?
Correct. Yeah, the Greys in particular.
Yeah, it's just an evolved form of humans.
Evolved form of us that doesn't really need their physical strength, so they have enlarged heads for increased brain capacity, and they've not lived
active lifestyle.
Well, they haven't lived planet side in a long time. They've been a spacefaring race for so long that they've just lost all their pigment, and
they didn't need the bone mass or the muscle mass.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting thought.
And they needed bigger eyes to take in more light because it's dark in space.
Yeah, it's a lot of fucking. It's weird. But anyway, so
we are in agreement though that there is other beings outside of this planet.
Has to be.
Has to be.
There's absolutely no way in a universe that is estimated now to be 26 billion years old instead of 13.8 billion years old because of James Webb Space Telescope.
Did y'all see Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
Yes, 42.
Yes. What were those things in the beginning where they do poetry to torture people?
I don't remember.
Well, can you imagine if there really was an alien race out there that was like that?
You know what really
the Borgs. Was it the Borgs?
Yeah, I think
the one that bends my brain is what is it? Interstellar.
Yes.
Interstellar fucks with my head.
But it's a very good movie.
It's impossible. No, it's not impossible. It's necessary. Something like, I can't remember. It's something necessary.
So,
but to think that there may be somewhere in the universe where it's like just like a library of information.
Yeah. Well, so that was the inside of a black hole.
Right.
That was the fourth dimension.
Yeah. And it was just like a library of time and information.
It was it was basically string theory. Was what it was trying to convey.
That you can go to any part in time.
Yeah.
And
it was basically saying that a black hole is just a portal to
different time periods.
Yeah. And it wasn't a library. It was that girl's bookshelf in her room.
That's right.
Yeah.
That was showing up on
the whole
lines.
time that she was deciphering these codes, it was her dad from the future.
Well, I'm saying because it showed you like different grids, and I thought maybe that was like kind of like a computer information.
It's a representation of string theory.
Okay.
Is my understanding of it, and I could be wrong, but from what I remember reading about it, it was like a representation of string theory in the fourth dimension.
I feel like people need to talk about this stuff more because this stuff is so interesting.
It is,
and we could sit here and talk about this shit all night if we wanted to.
We really could, but I digress. It's time to move on.
It's like I like to talk about aliens. I don't want to talk about Hunter plea deal.
So, in a classic game of Deal No Deal, Hunter smashed the no deal button, and
because
now
he is a
crackhead and a criminal.
Stupid.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
No.
Smell like fate.
No. Yes, you do.
You're not.
You're not helping.
Help.
He's a real.
He's a real man of genius.
Damn it.
Real man of genius.
Except for he's not. He's really, really fucking stupid.
He is.
Like
that's
really
why,
dumb.
Well, that's why he left his cocaine in the tour area.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but if I left illicit drugs somewhere,
I'd be upset.
I think I'd be pretty upset about it.
Because I'm sure he paid a good penny for that cocaine.
Yeah, I'm sure it was high end.
Cocaine isn't cheap. Good cocaine isn't cheap. Well, I mean, I wouldn't know. I just what I've heard.
I'll do a little toot.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
I will do a little toot.
But I do not freebase cocaine.
But
I will not freebase cocaine.
I do not freebase cocaine.
Unless I'm at church and there's a hymn I've already heard.
Unless somebody give it to me. If somebody give it to me, then it'd be rude not to do a little toot.
Now I will go upside the head.
Sadly, better watch out.
Sadly, you better watch out. If I've been going.
I will take a drink. Okay. Anyway, moving on. Hunter Biden's plea deal, his sweetheart plea deal that happened while we were on break, has completely fallen apart because a judge has basically been like, hey, I don't think you can do that.
Remains on hold between Hunter Biden and the Justice Department, facing federal tax charges. The president's son was hoping to put his legal troubles behind him this week, but a federal judge expressed concerns over that plea deal, and now the White House is addressing Hunter Biden's legal future. NBC's Ryan Nobles is on the story for us this morning. So, Ryan, what is the White House
sayonara, Probst?
Bye, Probst.
Saying?
Well, Savannah, as you know, the White House has gone to great lengths to avoid getting involved in the legal troubles of the president's son. The president himself generally just bats away questions that relate to Hunter. But now his press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, making it clear there is one line the president will absolutely not cross when it comes to his son's situation. She plainly ruled out the possibility of a pardon from President Biden for his son, insisting that there's a firewall between the White House and the Justice Department.
No, there's
not.
not.
As for that court case, both sides have about a month to address the federal judge's concerns over that plea agreement. But as for now, that case is headed to trial. Savannah?
All right, that's it.
Get fucked, nerd.
Eat a dick.
Fuck you.
Eat a dick.
Thank you, Joe. At the end of the day, rules for thee but not for me is not going to work anymore.
No.
And that judge basically said, no, you can't do that. And
Not in my house.
So I read a lot of the transcript and stuff, and it really looks like these two sides didn't come to terms to begin with, and that once they realized that Hunter Biden was not going to be immune from future indictment on any other charges, they were like, well, we don't fucking want that. That doesn't suit our needs. Well, of course it doesn't suit your needs, because your guy's going to go to prison. At the end of the day, he's going to jail, and unless Pop pardons him, which is a distinct possibility because the White House press secretary said they wouldn't do it.
You would think that'd be a conflict of interest.
It is a conflict of interest, but the Bidens don't care.
Which goes against the federal, what is that? Did you have to do,
Come on, man.
ethics training?
Yeah, always. I have to do that every year.
Well, so you know how, like...
It's unethical.
It's unethical.
But, again, it's the Bidens. So, I mean, at the end of the day, do you really put anything past them? No.
Oh, no.
Exactly. Either Pop-Pop's going to let his son rot in prison, or Pop-Pop's going to pardon him. And, you know, Corn Pop was a bad dude, and Corn Pop's probably in jail.
And the kids, they used to get up on my lap, and they would rub my leg hairs when they were wet.
So, it's, you know, not only that, but now they've also got a bigger problem.
Welcome back to Fox and Friends. Hunter Biden coming clean to a federal judge this week, admitting that he made hundreds of thousands of dollars from a Chinese government-backed firm. According to official court transcripts, the judge says Hunter, quote, $664,000 from a Chinese infrastructure investment company. Is that one of the companies we've already talked about? To which Hunter replied, quote, I believe so, yes, Your Honor. I believe CEFC. But remember when his dad, Joe Biden, said this right before the 2020 election.
My son has not made money in terms of this thing about, what are you talking about, China.
So here to help us.
I'm sorry. It seems that he has about $664,000, in fact. Give it a dough.
No! We don't have a liar button either.
Shit. Yeah, I mean, there's stuff that I missed.
Liar.
Yeah, I gotta fix that one.
Just do that.
I mean, it's, at the end of the day, go back to, at the end of the day, all of this is being pretty out in the open lies. And everybody knows that they've been lying this whole time, and it doesn't make any sense to continue lying about this shit. Like, we all see it. And if you think that we don't see it, you've got your head in the fucking sand. The American people are not this stupid, okay? Liberals, yes, they are this stupid. The American people, no. Stop looking at whatever you're looking and contribute.
Sorry, I'm trying to find videos.
Well, you should have been doing that all week.
You know what? You know what
you could have been doing instead of playing Civilization over there?
Today was my rest day, damn it. I was trying to rest.
Give him a failure.
I'm trying to build a nuke.
Speaking of nukes, Oppenheimer.
Next weekend.
Nope.
No, the next weekend.
The weekend after next.
Okay.
Yep. We got way too much going on next weekend.
Okay. Which kind of sucks because
we're going to your parents Friday. We'll have the boys Saturday.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are.
You're not supposed to know that. How do you know that?
What?
How do you know about that?
How do I know about what?
That we're going to eat dinner at Mom Joe's.
Because I was literally in the room when your mom was talking about it.
God.
Stupid.
No.
Yeah.
She literally told me, don't say anything.
Is it like for
well, somebody posted it in the family forum on Element.
Well,
so.
don't tell me that. Don't ask me and mine for nothing.
What is it? Is it supposed to be like
mine for nothing?
When's your birthday? Is it supposed to be for your birthday?
Thursday.
First of all, you don't know that.
Birthday's Thursday.
Smell like fake.
Justin, when's my birthday?
September 26th.
You know what? I'm just a shitty friend sometimes.
Stupid.
You are fake news.
I don't know any of y'all's birthday. I don't know
thinking
Cody's
that was
birthday. I don't know
you
your
are
birthday.
Cody's birthday is April 21st.
I don't know that.
You know what?
I don't know Lonnie's birthday.
Sometimes I even forget my own
Her
kid's
birthday is New Year's Day. So
Yeah.
On New Year's Day.
That's easy to remember.
yes, it is.
It's the first day of the year.
It's the year that you were born that I have a hard time with.
Beth's is easy to remember. It's May 31st, last day of the month.
Yeah.
Last day of May.
Yeah, Cody's is the day after 420.
Okay, well, I'll remember that. But see, I didn't know Cody's, and I even forget what day my own kids is sometimes.
I get mine mixed up. So.
I will never forget.
You have one.
I know. Yeah, but okay, to be fair, you only have 2 different days to remember. Because
It was a BOGO
the
special.
3 boys,
BOGO special.
one of them was a BOGO.
Buy one, get one free. It's not a copy and paste because they're not a... Every time you do that, it goes
Yeah,
I know,
do we
it's
have
weird.
our sound gates on or something?
No.
It wasn't a copy and paste because they're not identical.
I don't know, man.
That is odd. I kind of
Anyway.
like it though. Keeps shit from being loud.
Yeah, but watch, we're going to watch it back and it's going to be all...
Oh yeah, it's gonna be all up in that.
We haven't had a good fart in a while. Those burps are good, though. Anywho, so now I want to talk about something that is extremely important to me, and that is the fact that there should be age limits on our elected officials.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
somebody blue screened on live TV, and it was not okay.
I have not heard it put that way.
Well, now you have.
Finishing the NDA this week. It's been good bipartisan cooperation.
Quiet.
And a string of
Wish we had a cricket button. Pause it. He looks like one of your angry toddlers standing in the corner taking a crap in their diaper. I'm just
You mean
like-
one of your angry toddlers?
No. That's what he looks like.
He looks like Mason when you catch him hiding in the hallway taking a shit.
On the
It would
carpet.
only be better if he was looking at the camera like this.
Like what?
So
Mason took a shit on the carpet.
well, yes, he has twice.
Oh god.
That's not the point.
He's still in diapers.
We're in
We're
pull-ups,
potty training.
but We're potty trained. They wear underwear too, but
No.
No, I know that phase, but I was just like wondering.
Okay, for real, he will sit there. I will take him to the bathroom, put him on the seat, and sit with him, and he will legitimately look me dead in the face like. And I'm just like, bro. Okay, so if the camera couldn't see it, it's.
hold on.
It's like, dude, just shit. Just take a dump. It's not that hard. It's okay.
It may be
Everybody
hard.
does it. No,
No,
it's
it's
no,
not.
it's not, because the second you put a pull up back on him, he fucking shits in it.
And it's so frustrating.
It's dude, it is so frustrating.
We're like, where do you go to take a poop? Where do you poop at?
In the potty.
And he goes, in the potty.
Not 10 minutes later, he's shitting his pants.
Ben's got one more chance, or he's equal with Mason. He's crapped
Yeah.
on the floor once too.
Oh god.
No, they'll go in there and they'll pee all day long.
Yeah.
Right.
You go in there
They'll
and go
piss in the potty every day.
Go pee. And they,
They
run
will
in there.
literally scream, I got a potty! And take off. And they'll drop their pull up and they'll pee in the toilet. And then when it comes time to poop, they're just like,
I
nah,
have
motherfucker.
I have tried videos, book distraction, toy distraction, rewards. You can't sit on anything comfortable but this potty until you poop. Like,
Nothing works.
I have
Send
bribed him with so
help.
many suckers.
Anyway, put us back on there, because he goes on for a couple more, a good long while.
Reboot.
No, wait, whoa.
Oh, no.
Okay, first off, I want to point something out, though.
You want to point out the lady?
Okay, so watch the lady in the green jacket.
Dude, this is a little weird. And he stops right when it happens.
So, he's talking, and then I'm going to put this on quarter speed so you can really see it. Okay? So he's talking. That guy over there has stepped over and said something to the lady in the green, and she steps in.
Taps him.
Tap.
For instant frozen.
She just got onto somebody. Did you see that?
She taps him
She
again.
taps him again.
But he's already frozen.
Was he about to say something he wasn't supposed to?
So when you go back, if you, I want to find the full thing. He's talking about making progress on an NDA, which
non-disclosure agreement.
If you know what an NDA is, you know that stands for non-disclosure agreement. And he starts talking about an NDA. So let's go back.
After finishing the NDA.
The NDA.
After finishing the NDA. After finishing the NDA.
The NDA? What are you talking about? What NDA? Apparently he was about to discuss whatever was in the NDA, or he's just fucking old. The more likely of the two is that he's just fucking old and he shouldn't be in Congress anymore. Put us back on full screen. At the end of the day, this is why I don't think that anybody over the age of 65, the official age of retirement, should be allowed to be in office. That includes the presidency, that includes the Supreme Court, that includes everything. Once you hit 65, you're done. That's it.
It's like the discussion we were having the other day about it. It's like, don't put them in anything official like that big, but you can still give them something within the system.
Get out the pool, your ass is wrinkly.
Yeah, they're definitely wrinkly. But it ain't from the water. I firmly believe that you get a term as a senator, a term as a representative, and if you make it, a term as a president. And that's it. That's all you get. At most, 2 terms, Senate, 2 terms.
So I'm okay with 2 terms.
2 terms for each position, right? And I think that at age 65, if you're on the Supreme Court, you should have to be ousted, retired.
Lonnie says make them door greeters. Welcome to Washington. Get your shit and get out.
Welcome to Capitol Hill. Where we have all the drinks.
We have the sauce. It's
Nancy Pelosi.
It's the Pelosi, man.
It's the Peloster. Anyway, and we're gonna skip this Christopher Wray thing because, well, no, we're not. We're not gonna skip that. Regardless, do you think that people over the age of 65, maybe 70, should be barred from holding high office like this?
Yes.
I think there should. I think there should at least be a health.
No, because people will. Okay, so here's my thing: the government is so corrupt that if there's a powerful enough
Yeah, they're going to just pass them anyway.
They will pass them regardless. So look at Dianne Feinstein.
So just have like a just period, no confusion, no corruption about it. Like, hey, you're this age, you're done.
Yeah, that's what I think. Because I mean, when the Declaration or when the Constitution was written, nobody was living until 70.
Yeah, I say
they didn't know what dimension was back then.
I'm going to say 60. I'm going to say the age limit is 60.
I don't think 60 is the right number. I think that it needs to be the age of retirement or a couple of years after.
Maybe.
Because most people are still of sound mind and fairly well connected with their constituents up to that point, right? Yeah. But once you get to 70, you're kind of like the doddering old man. And
how
people
old is Joe Biden?
Joe Biden is going to be 84 if he wins re-election when he finishes. So
he'll be almost 90 if he
I don't know how old he is. I'm looking it up. Don't worry. He is 80.
So he'll be 84 if
He'd be-
or 85 even.
So yeah,
when he finishes.
He'd be almost 85 when his. No, he would be 85 when his
Not
term
very,
was
you know,
over.
not very many people live to be that old.
No, they don't. But anyway, Christopher Wray has continued to get absolutely demolished in Congress, and I, for one, am here for it.
A recent poll found that 37% of Americans have a positive view of the FBI. And that's from an NBC poll. I wouldn't exactly call that right media propaganda, and I think I know why. Here's what the American people know and believe about the FBI today, sir. If you are a Trump, you'll be prosecuted. If you are a Biden, you'll be protected.
Hold on. Let's back that up. It doesn't matter if you're a Trump. If you're a conservative in any way, you'll be prosecuted. And if you're a liberal in any way, you will not.
And the American people that I represent are sick and tired of this double standard. It seems like every single hearing that we have in this room, we talk about the two-tiered justice system of Biden's DOJ and the FBI, and as we were talking earlier, here we are again. President Trump endured an unprecedented raid at his home in Mar-a-Lago. President Biden's home, however, was respectfully browsed. President Trump is facing up to 400 years in federal prison for allegedly being in possession of classified documents he obtained as the commander-in-chief of these United States of America. And meanwhile, President Biden is facing no charges for the classified documents he had held at his time as a senator and a vice.
Could you stop?
I'm trying to make sure Bryson's not going into that bathroom.
Oh, that's cute. Wifey.
She did it, not me.
That's okay. Kate's on the phone as my love. And I did that. Because I'm sweeter
Oh, hell.
than you.
Wait, what are you saying?
Nothing. Don't worry about it. Too late now. I'll never admit it again.
Do y'all have a conversation called The Box?
No.
She's still pissed at you for
She's
mentioning
not
The
pissed at me.
Box.
She doesn't give a shit.
I showed
Then
you
again-
the box.
Huh?
I showed you the box.
You didn't show Joe the box.
Oh, why would I show you the box?
Exactly.
Why would I show you the box?
The box is my friend.
That's what no, but he
Get
told
fucked,
us
nerd.
about the box.
No,
He
I
didn't-
told you about the box.
You didn't tell us what was in the box. You just
I did
told
not.
us about the box.
But I like the box.
I'm assuming it's the toy box.
No, it houses a ginormous Snorlax costume that he finds so arousing. Sorry, I'm at Squirtle.
It's just
Let's
sexy.
go with
Squirtle.
Squirtle.
Oh,
Now you're here making innuendos.
that's revealing.
Anyway, continuing on here.
Vice president, not the president of these United States of America. And last I checked, he had no legal authority to declassify those documents. Assuming President Trump was in possession of said classified documents, would those documents be more secure, surrounded by Secret Service at Mar-a-Lago, or in a box, in a garage, behind your Corvette? No, they answer that question. Question for you, sir. What can you tell us about the status of the FBI's investigation of President Biden's classified documents found next to his Corvette in Delaware and those found at the Penn Biden Center? Do we have an update on that, sir?
What I can tell you is that there is an ongoing special counsel investigation led by Mr. Robert Hur, and we have FBI agents affiliated with it, working on it, working very actively and aggressively with him on that case. I obviously disagree with your description of the two standards. In my view, at least under my watch, we have one standard.
Okay.
No, you don't.
And that is we're going to pursue the facts wherever they lead, no matter who likes it. And I add that
Liar.
last part because especially in sensitive investigations, almost by definition, somebody's not going to like it.
So I understand, and that's actually why I led with the sentiment of the American people. I understand that's your sentiment.
so
I do want to finish this. So I want everybody to talk about this dichotomy that we have seen. I get your point, sir, but that's just not what we see as the public, as we the people. We see one case being fast-tracked and one case being slow-walked. We see one president's home being raided, the other president's home being kindly searched. You have one government agency, the Secret Service, protecting the former president and his home, and another government agency, the FBI, raiding the same home. Now, to me, sir, that's tragically ironic. And we expect more from a functional constitutional republic, and these things shouldn't be happening. Now, it's my opinion, Joe Biden is the most unpopular president we have seen in a century, and that's why he knows the only way to stop President Trump from beating him in November is by putting him in jail. You talked about this, Mr. Fry. In the 247 years of this existence of this great nation, only one president has ever been indicted by the DOJ and has home raided by the FBI. Now, some have said that President Trump's indictment means that no one is above the law. Okay, all right, I would love to see that. But what about Hillary Clinton? And what about Joe Biden? And what about Hunter Biden, who is America's favorite son? Let me tell you something. I got a 4-year-old daughter and a 2-year-old daughter at my house. Hunter Biden to me is like glitter. He is on everything and you cannot get rid of him. And yet nothing is going to be done about this. We're sick of it. James Comey decided not to prosecute Hillary Clinton despite overwhelming evidence that she committed crimes. And as I recall, it was the position of the FBI to not prosecute because they didn't want to interfere with the presidential election.
Ruh-roh.
What do you call this? The Iowa caucuses are in 6 months. 6 months. I think the American public would expect to see this from Cuba and from Venezuela and from Russia and from China, but not here. The people expect us to have blind justice. They expect equal justice under the law. It is not the job of the DOJ or the FBI to prosecute Joe Biden's top political opponent who is leading in every single primary poll, and the Iowa caucuses are in 6 months. Let the people decide. It's our job to uphold the Constitution. As a West Point grad and military veteran, this is the Constitution I'm giving my life to protect, and I expect us all to uphold it likewise. Thank you so much for being here, Mr. Chair.
Lonnie said that boy be spitting.
He do.
He do be.
What's his name?
That would be Wesley Hunt. Back on full screen.
Spit that twang.
So, again, what about Hillary Clinton? I brought this up earlier. You can't indict Trump when you refuse to indict Hillary Clinton. When you refuse to indict Hunter Biden. When you refuse to look at the things that Joe Biden has done and say that this is equal justice under the law. This isn't equal justice under anything. Okay? At the end of the day, this is a political persecution of a former president because Orange Man bad.
Yep.
And again, I'm not a Trump supporter. I don't like President Trump. I never did. I liked some of his policies. But I think that the standard policy should be take his fucking phone away from him. Don't let him tweet.
President shouldn't have a phone.
Presidents, well...
He has people for that.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that, actually. But anyway, now it's time for my favorite segment. It's time for We Hate Her. Because I didn't download it. But I'll fix that.
As you all know, today the Department of Education is holding a hearing to get public input on the new debt relief that President Biden announced a few weeks ago, right after the SCOTUS decision. As you all know, the hearing is a key step forward in our work to get relief out to as many borrowers as possible, as quickly as possible. The Department of Education also released state-by-state data showcasing who stands to benefit from the over $39 billion in debt relief we announced last week for over 800,000 borrowers. These are borrowers who had been making payments for decades, but were never given the relief they were promised. So that's what we saw with our announcement last week. These borrowers are owed this relief, yet Republican elected officials, including those who had no problem with the government forgiving billions of dollars in business loans, are still objecting to, including their own constituents. A couple of examples here. Representative Lisa McClain of Michigan said, "Come hell or high water, I will fight this." Now, there are more than 26,000 borrowers from Michigan are eligible for this relief. Representative Virginia Fox of North Carolina said, "We're hurting borrowers, but more than 24,000 borrowers from North Carolina stand to benefit from this relief." So congressional Republicans have made it clear they will stop at nothing to block relief for middle-class borrowers, including their own constituents. But President Biden isn't backing down either. No president has...
First off, the new relief that you announced was already built into the system. You just made sure that it worked.
2, it's borrowers.
3, we hate you. And on to the next one. This one is particularly good for me.
In June, after the president's son, Hunter Biden, it was announced that he's going to plead guilty to 2 misdemeanors. The White House put out a statement in which the president and the First Lady said that they love their son and they support him as he continues to rebuild his life. Tomorrow, when he's making this first court appearance and presumably enters a plea of guilty to these 2 misdemeanors, will either the president or the First Lady be by his side? Do you happen to know? And if not, why not?
Look, a couple of things. What you just said about the president and the First Lady loving their son and will continue to support him as he moves forward with his life, that continues to be true, and that will stay to be true. Anything else, I can tell you that the president will be here working on behalf of the American people. As you know, the First Lady is actually abroad doing the business of the American people, and so I just...
Wait. First off, the First Lady should not be doing the business of the American people because she's not an elected representative. Second off, Joe Biden goes to Delaware more than he stays at the White House. And third off, Joe Biden is never awake. So, yeah, you're a liar and we hate you.
Say fourth off, we hate you.
This one also tickles me in a very good spot.
To tickle you in the taint?
Gives me a freedom boner.
Ooh, so it does tickle you in the taint?
Yes.
President Biden has spent most of his political career working on gun laws, on gun reform. Does he believe that someone who is charged with possessing a firearm illegally should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law?
So here, I'm going to be... I think I know where this question is going.
Oh, you think you know where this question is going? I'm pretty sure you know exactly where this question is going because Hunter Biden is a piece of shit that illegally obtained a firearm.
And I'm just going to continue to say, as it relates to the case that we're seeing in Delaware, I'm just going to not speak to that. It is an independent matter. This is
no, it's not.
She's looking like, oh shit. She really just asked that question.
It's one of those legal criminal matters, and it's up to that process, that legal process. I'm just not going to speak to it here.
And when he was a senator, crafted gun legislation. As president, he talks often about the need to get illegal firearms off of our streets. So when someone possesses one illegally, what does the president believe should happen to them?
The president has been very clear. You just laid out where his position has been, what his policies has been, what he was able to pass into law. So I'm going to be very mindful here. I'm going to be very careful because I see where this question is going, and I'm just going to refer you, as this has been an independent investigation. It's overseen by the Department of Justice. I'm going to let them speak to this as they are moving forward.
So basically,
I don't want to comment on this because I
don't want to get fired.
There are clearly rules for thee and not for me.
Look, he was just helping to get one more illegal gun off the street.
No, he wasn't. He was putting an illegal gun on the street because he threw it in a dumpster.
Because it was legal at first.
No, it was illegal because he lied on the form.
No, I'm saying the gun was legal.
Yes, the gun was
him purchased
through the legal means with an illegal lie on the form.
Yes. It became illegal.
Because he knew that he was a addict of an illicit substance known as Parmesan cheese. I mean crack. Anywho, and for the final part of We Hate Her, we've got this.
The gun had a green card, all right.
Show me your green card. I'm the law and you're illegal.
I wanted to ask about the impeachment inquiry.
About the
impeachment inquiry.
Oh, okay.
So before the briefing, McCarthy said, all I'm saying is we go where the truth is. You have to get to the bottom of the truth, and there's only one way Congress can do that with an impeachment inquiry. What's the White House's reaction to that idea, that the sentiment that this is the only option for Republicans?
That's for Republicans to decide. I'm not going to weigh in on what they may or may not do, or how House Republicans want to move forward. What I'm going to weigh in is how the president is going to continue to move forward for the American people, for American families. That's his focus. We saw that today. We'll continue to see that throughout the week. We've seen that for the last 2 years, more than 2 years, of how the president wants to make sure that we have an economy that works for the American family, and that we're putting forth policies that really, truly change lives. You think about the mental health rule that we're putting forward. You think about how he wants to make sure that we're continuing to tell the story of our nation and not shy away from the history that is incredibly important when we think about Emmett Till. So that's what the president's going to focus on. I'm just not going to get into hypotheticals.
Right on time. My ass is hurting.
So, again, this is why we hate you. And now, I'm struggling to figure out what to call the Joe Biden segment, because I can't call it This Week in Biden, because that's what Crowder calls it. I'm really leaning towards fireside chats with Joe Biden, or with Pop Pop.
Call it Gaff and Gramps.
No, I'm spitballing here, but I really like fireside with Pop Pop. Telling stories.
It don't zing enough.
You know
for
what?
me.
Telling stories with Pop Pop.
No, still don't zing.
Well, we'll come up with something, but for now, we're going to call it Talks with Pop Pop. And this one is pretty good, because did you know that cancer had been cured?
I was not aware.
Yeah, me neither.
You know, usually things like that are a big story.
You know, I'm sure Jamie Raskin would really appreciate the cure to cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, you know, whatever.
Why Americans have sort of lost faith for a while in being able to do big things. If you could do anything at all, Joe, what would you do? I said I'd cure cancer. He looked at me like, why cancer? Because no one thinks we can. That's why, and we can. We'd end cancer as we know it. Deliver on our...
You what? You ended cancer as you know it?
Which I'm sure he probably meant we would end cancer as we know it.
No, I'm pretty sure he means we ended cancer as you know it.
Well, he's not all there either, so what can we say?
Well, lights are on.
Nobody's
home.
I wouldn't expect to get the deposit back either.
Nope. Not at all.
Sacred obligations to veterans is the second thing I think is critically important. One of the things I'm always asked is, you know,
it's just again
why Americans have sort of lost faith for a while in being able to do big things. If you could do anything at all, Joe, what would you do? I said I'd cure cancer. He looked at me like, why cancer? Because no one thinks we can. That's why, and we can. We'd end cancer as we know it. Deliver on our sacred obligations to veterans.
Delivered on our sacred obligation to veterans. Delivered. Hold on. Take us off of I got something here.
I'm not gay no more.
Hold on.
Do you believe that the Lord tonight has set you free?
Yes, sir.
Turn around and tell those people. Tell them. I'm not gay no more. I am delivered. I don't like men no more. I said I like women. Women. I said women. I'm not gay. I would not date a man. I would not carry a purse. I would not put on makeup. I will love a woman. A woman. Now listen, what? Y'all praise God with him.
Oh my God.
You know that was
listen.
staged. He automatically reaches for the microphone before being handed it. So how does he know the guy was going to hand him the microphone?
I'm not gay no more.
What?
I am delivered.
Go back.
I think he had to deliver that message so badly.
I don't like men. Tonight has set you free.
Yes, sir.
Turn around and tell those people. Tell them. I'm not gay no more. I am delivered. I don't like men no more.
I will love a woman's.
I will love a woman.
A woman. That's what. Yeah.
Oh my God. That's all I can think of when he said we delivered on our sacred promise. I'm not gay no more. I am delivered. I don't like men's no more. I like women.
You need to go follow this guy on TikTok. His TikTok name is the Holy Nope.
I think I've seen him.
Pretty good.
Anyway, now it's time for Joe's favorite segment because I don't have it this week on Twitter. It's time for Joe's Conspiracy Corner.
Now, I have not. Now, I have not put anything in the dealio here, so we're just going to search it together because I couldn't find it. But let's go to YouTube. YouthTube?
Shut up.
That sounds a little pedo.
That sounds Joe Biden-y.
Let's type in just moon landing conspiracy. Go down. Let's listen to these fellers. Right
This one?
Yeah. Let's turn the dang X-Files music off first. There you go.
10, 9, ignition sequence start. 6.
Landing on the moon, I thought was the greatest achievement in the world.
Contact light. Okay, engine stop. The Eagle has landed.
It was a defining moment, and I thought it was amazing.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
My dad was like 9.
What?
What happened?
I was incredibly pleased to have been able to witness a historic event. But I have subsequently discovered that that was not possible. The lunar landings were more than likely fabricated, faked.
I affirm that we didn't go to the moon, and I would bet my life on it.
We did not land men on the moon.
Well, you're from Canada, and I don't believe you.
Well, asking you to swear on the Bible that you orbited the moon.
Would you please go away? Must be some kind of wacko.
Okay, well,
Take your stuff and get the fuck out.
said you walked on the moon when you didn't. You're a coward and a liar and a thief.
Wait, who was that last one?
That was Buzz. Yeah, he punched that dude in the face.
Oh yeah, straight up.
Get fucked.
Russia orbits Sputnik 1, the Earth's first man-made satellite.
Soviets had launched the first animal, the first man, the first woman, the first spacewalk, the first crew of 3. So there was a concern that they would be more advanced in missile technology as well. So what do you do in poker when you have 2 2s and they've got 3 3s? You bluff.
So the United States, through their president, had to have a response to this.
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
The space race was
unfortunately
decisively
the
won
CIA killed
by the
you.
United States.
Well, you don't win if you cheat.
And it didn't seem that hard either.
It's the only time in history where the technological accomplishment cannot be repeated by any nation on Earth 50 years later. To me, that proves that it's a fraud to begin with.
It's like saying Orville and Wilbur Wright in 1903 flew the first heavy-than-air machine, and nobody did it again for 50 years.
Okay, so alternative theory here. The moon just wasn't that interesting. We went like, what, 3 times? We went more than once.
No, we only went once.
No, they went more than once.
To the moon? They only went once to the moon. We went to outer space multiple times.
Hold on. I'm 90% positive we went more than one time.
Nope, just Apollo 11, man. Wait.
A total of 12 men have landed on the moon. This was accomplished with 2 U.S. pilot astronauts flying the lunar module on each of 6 NASA missions across a 41-month period starting July 20th, 1969 with Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin on Apollo 11 and ending on Apollo... hold on. Where'd it go? Shit. And ending on 14 December 1972 with Gene Seaman and Jack Schmitt on Apollo 17.
They never tell us this in school.
Yes, they did. That's how I knew.
I don't remember that.
So, yeah, that automatically debunks that nobody did it again for 50 years because they did it several times over a period of a couple of years.
I didn't know that.
So, give them a failure.
Smell like failure.
Now, is there some credence to the fact that the moon landing could have been faked? Yeah, absolutely. They could have faked it several times. Who knows? But
keep going.
I mean,
let's see what they say.
A machine may be said to be born when it first performs a useful function. This, then, is the birth of a machine and the beginning of an achievement.
Let's start with the Saturn V rocket. Height of St. Paul's Cathedral here in London. That rocket did lift off.
Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on
thanks
Apollo
to
11.
Huntsville, Alabama.
2 minutes after it disappeared from sight, we have to rely on NASA to tell us what's happening next.
These F-1 engines were not capable of performing the way NASA claims. My belief is, and my actual belief, and actually I think this is fact, is that the Apollo Saturn rocket ended up in the Atlantic Ocean after it launched.
Well, it did. But the top of it...
There were 5,770 photographs taken on the lunar surface by the 12 astronauts.
The only proof you need to prove that the moon landings are fake is that one picture where an astronaut shadow is at 12 o'clock and a shadow from a rock 5 feet away is going at 9 o'clock. That's impossible.
First off, there can be multiple light sources. Second off, no.
To happen in sunlight.
The camera was being used in a studio here on Earth under controlled conditions, taking PR images for use by NASA to promote their program. It's a brilliantly executed propaganda exercise.
One of the most important aspects of any historical event is maintaining detailed records of that event. Each mission was recording everything, every detail about these Apollo missions, from the spaceship telemetry to biomedical information for the astronauts to the live visual feed, the live video feed that we're told was taken from the moon. How do you lose 140,000 reels of telemetry tapes?
Oh, come on. This is the most significant event of the 20th century. Are they taped over it? What, shows of I Love Lucy?
And NASA itself admits that they don't know where those tapes are. They're gone, all of them.
Hey, John,
I don't know if you know this about people, but people generally fucking suck. And see, even this, it talks about the Apollo 16 landing.
So what I don't get,
on Cody's birthday.
What does it for me is, so look at the camera quality, right? But yet the pictures are like, boom.
Cameras were better at taking pictures than they were at video back then, by a lot. And you got to think, with modern technology, you're able to digitally amplify a lot of these images too.
Yeah,
So, but I mean, to say that putting a rover on Mars is less impressive than landing on the moon is fucking stupid. Like, we've got rovers on Mars right now.
Right.
So, again, I just think that the moon, they went, you know, like a bunch of times, and it was just like, okay, well, this is boring. Just like humans typically do. You don't explore the West twice, you explore it once, and now you know what's out there.
Keep going.
It's perfect with the lube and the rover and you, and come on out here and give me a salute. There we go.
Absolutely incredible that people would actually say, and I've heard this, that it would be much easier to go to the moon than actually fake it. The military has the biggest filming studios in the world, even bigger than Hollywood.
Look at the size of that rock.
They found out on Apollo 11 it wasn't that difficult to fool people.
I was strolling on the moon one day.
So you've done it once, you can fool people 6 times.
Another argument to defend the fraud is that the couple 100,000 people involved as contractors and employees of the space industry couldn't keep a secret.
How do they keep a secret? They don't. They only knew enough to do their job. It's called compartmentalization.
Do you really think the CIA is so stupid to tell the person making the glove or the door or the boot, hey, the moon landings are fake, but don't tell anybody?
I think within my lifetime, we will see an admission that the Apollo moon missions were faked.
If it weren't for people's emotional attachment, they would clearly see it.
If people want to believe it, that's entirely their affair. NASA have indulged themselves in fake news for 50 years. How sad is that?
Interesting. Now, go to YouTube and type in.
So you don't believe that they're fake?
I do not believe that they're faked.
You believe that they're fake?
I'm in the middle.
What do you think?
I don't think they're real. I think at one point it is, but I don't think the
You don't think the first one?
real.
I do believe there could possibly be it could possibly be like a propaganda.
I think they needed enough propaganda to get them by until they could get an actual working rocket to take them. I don't think all of it's fake, but it's like he says about the poker game. He's bluffing.
Damn it!
What?
We got the band hammer.
Oh, Jesus. Well, give it a minute. It'll pop back up.
Maybe.
It will. It always does. It'll, hold on. Where am I?
What was that video thing? That documentary? They just showed on
Vice.
Was it Vice?
Yeah.
I wonder what it's called.
Dun, 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 dun.
We may be back already. No. Hold on. Let's get a little refresh here. Yeah, sometimes it does come back. Okay, come on now.
Oh.
Yep. Are we back? Okay. And see, we're back. We are back. I thought breaking it up like that would be enough.
But I mean, we even showed that it was from Vice. What the hell?
Yeah. Well, it's just a copyright thing. Okay, what am I looking up now?
All right, go to I guess
Spit
it's
it out, bitch.
Apollo 11 filmed leaving the moon.
Can't talk. Type.
Leaving moon. Yeah, right there. Yeah. So click on that.
Stage push. Mission arm is destined. Okay, I'm going to get the pro. 99, proceeded, 3, 1, ignition. Right away, Houston. Vector good. Ag side.
Who filmed that shit?
A remote camera.
Pitch over. Roger, you have good thrust.
Who controlled the remote camera?
Somebody at NASA.
So you mean to tell me that we have to send
308 your number.
signals
Take out your
like
1,500 feet,
like
and
signals
east
to
side
take
looks good.
30 minutes?
They don't take that long to get to the moon and back.
I just
It's
that one right there. That's the one that made me scratch my head a little bit. Unless it's pre-programmed and they just so happen to get it right on the dot.
so okay. So here's the thing, right? I think that okay. I got to be careful how I word this, right? Okay. So I believe that we went to the moon, right?
Right.
I don't think that everything they show you is 100% accurate. Some of it could indeed be propaganda. But the fact that we went there is not disputable for me. I think that some of the stuff, like, yeah, maybe what you're talking about, the who filmed that shit, that might be propaganda. It may be from a studio that said, hey, we want to show the people them lift off from the moon, but feasibly we really can't.
See,
so let's film this in advance, and then when they leave the moon, we'll just say this.
Now I'm saying now the technology's there. I'm just saying then was it? You know,
I mean, it's hard to say, but I don't believe for a second that they would have spent all that money and risked all those lives just for some Soviet era propaganda.
Maybe. And I was going to say, and the communication is pretty clear too, but then no, because literally, like, my little, I have a little ham radio, and it can pick up signals from the space station. So, ham radios, you know, that's pretty old.
I mean, and the thing, like I said, it's, you know what? Hold on, let's see.
Have you ever heard old radio frequencies?
No, what do you mean?
Like, because you know, radio waves that go out there, they're not really like, they bounce off things.
Right.
Well, sometimes over the airways, it crosses over, so you're getting something from. Have you ever heard that before?
Interference waves.
No, I've heard like you're like listening to the radio, and all of a sudden another station pops through.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about. I have heard stories of people getting these radio frequencies while they're like I've heard from like Marines in the past that they'll be out in the field and they've got their radio on, it's dead silent, and then all of a sudden they hear like bombing, and this is from like a radio frequency from like 19,
because they don't ever dissipate. They're always just bouncing.
They're
around.
always just bouncing.
And they
around.
just so happen they just so happen to pick it up.
Yeah.
No, I've never been.
I've heard so many stories. From
I've never
people
heard
in the
that.
Marine Corps that they have been out.
I believe I've heard something about that before, but I'm saying I've never heard it happen.
I've never
personally.
heard it either, but
See, even Lonnie says it was a remote camera. Houston.
I mean, that's what I saw was remote camera, but I feel like maybe I just don't feel like the technology was there then.
I don't know. No, let's full screen this.
After 21 hours and 36 minutes on the surface of the moon, it was time for the first people to walk here, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin, to start heading home.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, work stage, engine arm ascent, proceed.
Okay, so this is about what the landing site looks like now. What they left behind.
In this video, we will look at what the astronauts left behind. Designed for the flag, as with no wind on the moon, it had to be held upright by a horizontal crossbar. The flag itself, however, made of nylon, is not a custom-made product, but was ordered through the standard government supply catalog. Purpose were left on the moon. Attached on the ladder of the descent stage, there is a metal plaque featuring the signatures of the Apollo 11 crew and then US President Richard Nixon. The astronauts also placed a number of small objects with symbolic meaning on the surface. These items were stored in a shoulder pocket on Buzz Aldrin's spacesuit, and he almost forgot to leave them on the moon, and was reminded to do so by Armstrong while he was already on the ladder to re-enter the lunar module. From there, Aldrin dropped the objects onto the lunar surface. Part of it was an Apollo 1 mission patch to honor the astronauts that had died in a tragic accident 2.5 years prior. Their cabin had caught fire during a launch rehearsal, killing all 3 crew members. The astronauts also left 2 commemorative medals to honor the Soviet cosmonauts Yuri Gagarin and Vladimir Komarov, 2 space pioneers that died in different tragic accidents. Even amidst the Cold War, the aim was to express mutual respect for those who risked their lives for the exploration of space. Another object that was placed to express the spirit of international cooperation is a small silicon disc. It contains goodwill messages from the leaders of 73 countries around the world. In addition, it features the names of Congress members responsible for NASA legislation, as well as names of NASA senior staff. The astronauts also left a gold olive branch as a symbol of global peace.
Interesting.
Besides these purely symbolic objects, we can find instruments that were used for experiments, such as this seismometer that can measure ground vibrations. The device, powered by solar panels, records data on the strength, duration, and approximate direction of seismic events and transmits this data to Earth. Unfortunately, just 3 weeks after the moon landing, the device stopped sending data back, presumably because it overheated in the midday sun. The temperature fluctuations between day and night are much more extreme than on Earth. This is because the sun's heat is not absorbed by an atmosphere, which could distribute it and retain it during the night.
Okay, hold on.
Then why does the space station's stuff not burn up?
Not the space station. You mean to tell me that those guys were walking around in daylight with extreme heat? So,
yes,
okay.
The noodle's cooking.
Fuck me. We faked the moon landing.
But you know what? One thing that's always weird
We
to
at
me.
least faked the first one.
You know one thing, but because the video, if you notice, I don't understand how. Okay, here on Earth, we can see the stars, but we can't see the stars in the video.
Okay, so
Have you ever thought about that?
there's the explanation that I've heard. Okay, Lonnie, you do me making a good point. All right, I'm back to we didn't fake the moon landing. It's such a tricky subject because at the end of the day, none of us know.
No, only people that know were the people involved.
So, I don't know, man. I don't know.
But I don't think their suits being white are going to reflect thousands of degrees. Like,
well, you got to consider the fact too that they were in space.
see, and that's another thing. If there's no oxygen in space, how is heat flowing through space?
Well, it's radiation in general,
right?
Like, but if it's not being absorbed by the atmosphere, you would think that it would just reflect off the surface.
How did the spaceship not burn up? How did their craft not burn up?
Dude, I don't know.
Now he's back to shit.
I don't
We faked the moon
know.
landing.
This is probably the best conspiracy corner we've had, and it was my idea.
Yep.
Fuck. Okay, so Lonnie, did you watch the Y-Files episode that I sent?
You sent I didn't even know you did that.
I literally sent it and said conspiracy corner.
No, I didn't watch it. All I saw was fake moon landing. I was like, shit, hell yeah.
Failure him, please.
Smell like failure.
But I'm saying if that burned up,
stupid.
Then why did their craft
Retarded.
not burn up?
Retard him.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm kind of retarded.
I'm just saying.
You watch what I send you, and you'll know these things. Anyway, I don't know.
Why did the Jeep little Rover thing not burn up?
I don't know. We're coming up on time, so Kate, still on the side of we didn't land on the
Why
moon.
did I mean, you're talking about machinery. What about the tiny little things they left on there too? I mean, those are metals. Why did that not burn up?
Why didn't it melt?
That's what I'm saying. Why didn't it melt?
I think either that or there's life on there and they don't want people to know.
I don't think there's life on there.
I don't think there is either. Isn't there like Google Earth but for the moon?
No.
I thought there was.
Well, I mean, there it is.
I mean, that could be photoshopped.
That's the lunar module. That's the camera that filmed them taking off. It looks pretty legit to me. You want to throw this up? I mean...
What is Lonnie what the effing about?
You not watching the video that I sent you.
Oh.
Psh. No, not psh. You never watch the shit that we send
Well, it's
you
because
for
you send
Conspiracy
like
Corner.
50 videos a
no,
day.
we do not.
You were worse than I used to be.
Lonnie says you're a jackass. And, you know, I honestly have to agree with him.
What
is this one? Well, that's interesting. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I think we went. I just think that there were certain aspects of it that they couldn't necessarily film.
Like when they found the aliens?
Well,
when they found Optimus Prime?
No, like when they left the moon. I think.
Sorry, it wasn't Optimus Prime. It was Sentinel Prime. Sorry.
I don't know. Okay, what's your verdict?
I go back to my original statement. I think the first one is fake, but I think at some point they did become real. I feel like they bluffed a poker game long enough
to be able to
pull
do it.
something out of their ass to get it done.
Okay, that's plausible. That makes more sense.
Okay, so
Joe,
look, see,
what's your verdict?
I'm kind of with Kate on that.
Okay, so I think we're all pretty much in agreement here. I think maybe the first one was faked, and then.
But see if you can find
that,
the video of the guy saying we can't go back because of the radiation belt or something like that. You know what the video I'm talking about?
Oh my God, the Van Allen radiation belt. That's such a stupid argument.
Just type in like we can't go back to the moon. And I can't find the guy. I tried looking for it and I couldn't find it. You remember the video? Like, it was kind of popular there for a while.
You know what?
There's an invisible magnetic force field surrounding our planet, protecting us from harmful solar winds that could annihilate Earth. But this protective blanket is also a swirling ring full of deadly radiation. And to leave Earth's atmosphere, astronauts have to pass through it. The Van Allen belts are rings of energetically charged particles that have been captured by Earth's magnetic field. They got their name from this physicist, James Van Allen. Back in the 1950s, Van Allen launched a Raccoon, a rocket lifted by a balloon above the atmosphere, and it detected the first hint of radiation at higher altitudes. Then, Explorer 1, the first American satellite to orbit Earth, launched January 13, 1958. Explorer 1 confirmed that Earth's magnetosphere was trapping the subatomic particles. The Van Allen belts were the first major scientific discovery of the early space age, and they posed a serious challenge for space travel. High-speed subatomic particles can tear through DNA, increasing the risks of cancer and other diseases. So sending astronauts through these particles is not ideal, and even though they're flying in a shield...
I don't know if that fart picked up or not.
Okay, so why have none of the astronauts ended up with cancer?
Oh.
...shielded spacecraft, doses
As
of
far as we
radiation
know.
can still seep through. But there's no way around the Van Allen belts. In order to reach space, astronauts have to fly through them. First, there's the inner belt, which is comprised of protons. And then the outer belt, which has mostly high-energy electrons. At one point, Van Allen suggested detonating a nuclear bomb in the inner belt to potentially clear out some of these subatomic particles. This plan never happened, but in 1962, the United States did carry out a nuclear explosion in space dubbed Starfish Prime. They wanted to see if detonating a 1.4 megaton bomb in low Earth orbit could augment and expand the Van Allen belts. But the explosion actually ended up temporarily adding more radiation around our planet. So with little success on that front, it was up to NASA to build a spacecraft with a strong radiation barrier and figure out a flight trajectory that avoided the thickest, most radioactive parts of the belts while traveling as fast as possible. Scientists determined that if the speed of the Apollo spacecraft was about 25,000 kilometers per hour, it would take about 52.8 minutes to pass through the belts. Based on that information, they found that the radiation dose received during that amount of time would be, at most, 11.4 rads, and that's without the protection of a spacecraft. And since a lethal radiation dose for a human is 300 rads in 1 hour, NASA deemed the missions a go. In the end, the average radiation dose on the skin of the Apollo astronauts came out to be 0.38 rad, which is about the same radiation you would receive getting 2 CT scans on your head. So while the Van Allen belts are lethal, they could really only kill an astronaut if they were to spend several days in their radioactive vicinity. And despite the challenges the belts create when leaving Earth, we should actually be thanking them for protecting life on our planet from utter annihilation.
Well, there you go.
Well, there's that.
There's the reason that we can't go back to the moon, apparently.
That's what that one guy said.
Yeah, well, that one guy's full of shit. So, anywho,
that was a pretty good conspiracy corner.
It was. Do we have a funny?
I do have a funny.
Babe.
I do. It's very short funny, but it's funny.
What is it?
Hey, YouTube. Hoochie Daddy shorts.
God.
Have you seen it, Kate?
I think I have.
No, it's Hoochie Daddy shorts.
Huh?
Shorts, like you wear.
Hoochie Daddy shorts.
There, that right there. That one.
This one?
Nope, up. With that one. Yep.
Made the mistake of wearing my brand new
Yeah.
Hoochie Daddy shorts today. And I've been catcalled 17 times. Like, hey boy, what that pee-pee do? I don't know. It pees. It's small. Leave me alone. Made the mistake of wearing
I think I sent that to you guys.
No, somebody at work showed it to me.
I'm pretty sure I sent it in the Liberty chat.
Crack the...
This... Play it
made the
again.
mistake of wearing my brand new Hoochie Daddy shorts today. And I've been catcalled 17 times. Like, hey boy, what that pee-pee do? I don't know. It pees. It's small. Leave me alone. Made the mistake
It's small. Leave me alone.
Hoochie daddy.
Hey, boy, what'd that pee-pee do?
Oh, my God. Okay, we can do better than that.
But that's still pretty damn funny.
You know what?
Habitual line crosser. Oh, yeah.
Did Lockheed Martin just reveal America's highly classified new stealth fighter? In an effort they call the Next Generation Air
No,
Dominance,
that's not what I
or
want.
NGAD program.
That's not what I want.
Russia, you know we see what you guys are doing, right? I am doing nothing but my special military operation, and there is nothing you can do to stop it. You're shelling, bombing, using rockets, missiles, you name it, on Odessa, mercilessly for some fucking reason. That's interesting. Where is your air defense? Obviously not in Odessa. You picked somewhere where our air defense wasn't, so that way you could claim it as a win, when in reality you're just showing that you can't get through our air defense, so you pick somewhere else. And aside from that, you also have Wagner, or should I call them Wanker, troops staging along the Polish border. We are just doing military exercise. And so are we. What you talk about? You do training along my border, I do training along my border. It's good time. You Polish should be more respectful of the land that Joseph Stalin gave you. Since you're such a big fan of history, have you seen the map of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth? Here, I have the map around here somewhere. Please show it to the vodka-flavored dipshit. Oh, would you look at that? Belarus and part of Russia are supposed to be mine. If you cross into Belarus or Russia, it will be seen as an act of war. It's a two-way street. You cross into my territory, it's the same. Just remember, Wagner is a private military group and not part of the Russian Federation. Therefore, not Russian. Of this I know. I would discourage them from crossing into Poland, because there will be no survivors. I will make the Battle of Conical Fields look like a fucking tea party. Are you crying? I am just so unbelievably proud of him. The rest of NATO, you need to listen. That's how you make a threat. Russia, you know we see...
I still like what that pee-pee do better. What that pee-pee do?
I don't know, it pees. It's
I don't know, it pees and it's small. Leave me alone. But we are officially out of time.
My ass hurts.
Mine
Ready to go
does
to bed.
too. I'm beyond ready to go back home. And, yeah. So, if you missed us, well, we're back. If you didn't miss us, well, then fuck you. Joe.
Eat a dick.
Thank you, Joe. But, you know, if you're new here, leave us a like, subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon, you'll always be notified when we go live, which is typically Saturday at 8 o'clock at night. Excuse me, it is a beautiful time. And frankly, I'm Justin.
I'm Joe.
I'm Kate.
Tally ho, lads.